And a very big hello and welcome to Winter Park, Colorado, site of your Maxxis Slopestyle Open, all coming your way. The biggest FFB slopestyle competition in all of the USA. About ready to go down for our qualifiers today. I am joined by a two-time Colorado Freeride Festival winner. That's Cam McCall. Cam, progression, taking forefront. What are we going to see today, man?
Yeah, it's going to be off the hook. Today's qualifying day, so that's exciting. We're seeing a lot of fresh faces out here. And it's also crazy to think this all started in 2007. Here we are in 2017. This event serves as a springboard for new talent. We got a lot of people who are hungry out there at the top of the course.
And you've won it twice before since we've started this thing 11 years ago. So it's amazing to see where it's grown. And also it's probably pretty amazing to see people make a name for themselves. Like Nikolai Rogatkin made a name for himself out here at the Freeride Festival.
Yeah, Nikolai Rogatkin, it was his first slopestyle contest. Now he's #1 in the world, so he's completely owing his career to this event, and he's never won it before, so that's obviously high up on his priority list. And a lot of riders who are looking to have happen to their career what Nikolai was able to do to his career back in the day.
Indeed, and people making a name for themselves. The history is so rich when it comes to the Colorado Freeride Festival. So let's rewind the clock and take a look at some of the history that's taken place out here in Winter Park.
This week, the top slopestyle mountain biker athletes crossed the world to reach Trestle Bike Park. Denver, Colorado has long been the gateway into the Rockies for mountain bikers, but now is a bike destination of its own. Denver hosts a number of urban bike parks in the metro area. From there, the riders traveled over the Continental Divide. Winter Park Resort is Colorado's oldest continually operating ski area. 10 years ago, Winter Park opened Trestle Bike Park, providing access to over 40 miles of gravity-fed trails, utilizing 4 chairlifts across the mountain. The trails feature everything from daunting downhill courses to a full-size freestyle course to trails specifically designed for first-timers. Of course, Colorado Freeride Festival is the biggest weekend of the year. In addition to the Maxxis Slopestyle Open, there's downhill mountain bike racing, the Intergalactic Pond Crossing Championship, and even a race for children under 13. If you haven't been here, you definitely need to plan a trip. Here are the bike park stats. 40 miles of lift service gravity trails, 4 lifts, 600 miles of cross-country trails down valley, 50 plus trails, and only a mere 67 miles from Denver.
Wow, Trestle Bike Park, what an amazing place this is indeed. And if you haven't had a chance to be up here in Winter Park, get your butts up here and come and join the fun out here at Winter Park. Trestle Bike Park is amazing. It's something you definitely want to try out at some point. All right, let's talk a little bit. It is your Maxxis Slopestyle Open. And Cam, let's break down the format.
So here's how things are going to work out here. It's the typical format used for every slopestyle contest. Each rider gets 2 runs, with the best run, the highest score, counting toward their overall ranking at the end of the day. The judges are looking for things like amplitude, how high the rider's popping above the ramp, and how difficult the tricks are that they're choosing. Now, trick difficulty is important, but also variety. You can't do the same hard trick off of every single feature down the course. You'll get judged down for that. And use of course. What that means is doing a difficult trick, not only on an easy feature, but on difficult features. And progression. The sport is at a ridiculous level right now, so you have to be doing things that are current. Execution. Even if you're doing difficult tricks and different ones all the way down the course, the feet have to be right back onto the pedals. That's how things are going to work out here, Brad.
Now I saw you this morning while I was here working, tirelessly working. You were out there taking some laps on this course. What do you think of the course, Cam?
Just gallivanting while you're hard at work. The course has great flow and all the features you need for a well-rounded slopestyle course in 2017. Lip downs, cannon logs, on-off boxes, and a handful of really perfect trick jumps.
Well, we had an opportunity to send Nikolai Rogatkin, of course, up there, and Max Fredrickson, so they could do a little course preview for you. So here's Nikolai and Max taking you through this Colorado Freeride Festival slopestyle course.
What's up, guys? Nikolai Rogatkin here with Max Fredrickson. We're out here at Trestle Bike Park for the 2017 Colorado Freeride Fest. The course is super rad. We're going to show you guys a top-to-bottom run. Let's go.
Whoa!
Dropping. Drop it into this first big step down. Oh my god. Look at this big wall feature. Now heading into the cannon log. Little tail whipper on it. Let's go into the big berm. First big jump. Max throwing a big spin. Yeah, dude. Now we're flowing into the on-off feature. Popping up. What's up, dude? Jumping down to the biggest jump on course. The dirt to dirt, whoa! Now into the last jump. Oh, some big flips for the boys. Hell yeah. Yes! And there it is. Colorado Parade Fest course preview. How was that, Max? That was insane. Proud, hell yeah.
Nicely done right there. The guys looking like they're having a lot of fun out there. And you look at guys like, Max Fredriksson coming back from injury. Very important for him to have fun and do good out there. But let's talk, Cam, a little bit about some of the features out here. First of all, we got a wall right in there, and it's kind of almost the New Belgium uplog. It's kind of off camber a little bit, or what do you see when you look at the course that's breaking it down for us?
Yeah, the wall ride, quarter pipe, hip transfer type of thing that we're looking at right now, that's definitely going to separate people because it's somewhat difficult to trick. You're seeing a lot of riders who are more comfortable turning to the left, doing alley-oop variations on that, meaning like 270 spins. So it opens up the door for a lot of creative tricks. Some riders are uncomfortable going that way, so they're going to have to step outside their comfort zone a little bit. But here, this feature right here, the Maxxis on-off box, that's something that's going to separate the riders who are staples on the Slopestyle World Tour and the riders who this may be their very first slopestyle contest. The flat drops, the features where you're losing elevation, vertical drops, they're harder to trick, and that's really kind of something that a rookie needs to put on their big boy pants and step up on a qualifying day like today.
Well, you talk about that Maxxis on-off box. That was built by Magaza himself. So it's like you look at some of these course features. Kelly McGarry is all over this course because he worked on this with his partner Tom Hay for so many years. So I feel like you're getting a little Magaza love in there too as well.
To think that he actually screwed in the slats on some of these ramps with his own two hands, it's really nostalgic. It's really cool to think, and everybody's always got him in their mind when they're ripping through a course that he had his fingerprint on.
Amazing stuff. Let's talk about some of the storylines too. If we look at it, okay, Nikolai Rogatkin. I've been teasing Nikolai this year, saying it's the year. This is your year. This is your year. 2 wins out there. You got to win in Innsbruck. Got to win in Rotorua on major slopestyle competitions. But he's never got the win out here. He's podiumed 3 times. Can he do it out here with this competition level that we're seeing?
Oh, he can do it without a doubt. And as we mentioned before, this event is very special for him because it's where he kind of launched his slopestyle career. Everybody's like, this BMX kid, who in the world is he? Could he actually be a force to reckon with? And now he's the guy. Like you said, 2 huge wins already in this 2017 season. So it is his event to lose. You could kind of look at it that way. And I know it would mean a lot to him to win this event.
Let's talk about Max Fredriksson. You look at what he's done. First of all, Joyride, 3rd place, a podium last year. That's absolutely huge. A 6th place finish out here last year at CFF, but then he gets injured after Joyride and he's out. But this is his first contest back. Can he regain the form when he left with the injury?
He's looking great in practice. Like you said, last season was a breakout for him with that huge 3rd place. And everybody was expecting him to be on the podium at every single event starting out the 2017 season. One of the gold events to start the season out in Switzerland broke his collarbone. And all these events are back to back to back, so it doesn't leave a lot of time for rehab. But he's back on his bike. He's looking in full form. In practice, he's definitely somebody to watch out for. If I were Nikolai, I'd be looking out for Max Fredriksson.
And they're friends, so they've been riding. Saw them with the course preview. They're riding together, so they're riding a lot. So I think they both know what each other guy can do. But also what we haven't talked about is the 2 wildcard spots. This is so important because this is the biggest slopestyle event in the U.S., and when you can get 2 wild cards to get into Joyride, that could pretty much make your career as it did for Nikolai, right? 2 open spots for the wild cards?
Yeah, breaking into the Diamond Series is like trying to break into Fort Knox and steal some gold, you know? Like, just because you get in doesn't mean that you're going to be able to stay in or steal the gold. So this event is like the way to sneak under the little laser beams like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. And it's going to be really interesting to see which 2 riders are able to sneak in. And we've seen it in the past. A rider like Torquato Testa out of Italy shows up to Winter Park. Next thing you know, he's on the Diamond Series for seasons. But then you see a few other riders who have been on the Diamond Series, have fallen off, and this is their chance to get back on. So is it going to be fresh faces that take the wild card spots, or is it going to be somebody who's trying to climb their way back into that Diamond Series?
Well, with, of course, Diamond Series coming up to stop in Whistler for Joyride, let's take a look at our FMB Diamond Series so far on our FMB Tour because the matchups have been pretty solid all year long. Emil Johansson, who we don't see out here today, 2,856 points over Nikolai Rogatkin with 28-26. So those guys are pretty close. The only one I think to help himself out here is Ryan Nyquist in that 7th spot with 1862. He needs a good result in a gold event, and this is a chance for him to do it.
And he's another rider who's looking fantastic in practice. And for those of you who don't follow the Diamond Series, the way this works is all the riders take every one of their Diamond Series finishes plus their top finish at a gold event. So this event can definitely shake up the rankings if a guy like Ryan Nyquist ends up doing well.
Indeed. Well, it is all coming your way. I'll tell you what, this is a very magical place here in Winter Park, Colorado. We're excited to bring you your Maxxis Slopestyle Open coming your way. Cam McCall, Brad J. We'll be back with you for more on Winter Park. Take a look at this.
The Maxxis Slopestyle Open at Colorado Free Ride Festival has been brought to you by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. GoPro. Be a hero. New Belgium. Home of Fat Tire Belgian Style Ale. The American craft beer icon.
And welcome back to your Maxxis Slopestyle qualifications. That's what's all about today. Well, we were going to be starting with 29. We've had a few recent guys had to pull out, but now we're down to 26 with 16 can move on to the finals tomorrow, but 10 will go home. What do you think about that cut?
Yeah, the riders are going to have to be looking around going, all right, well, I'm going to have to beat a handful of you. I'm going to have to beat at least 10 of you to make it through. And they're dropping like flies in practice, but we still have a good stocked field of 26.
Do you think riders will actually look at the names and say, okay, I can beat that guy, I can beat that guy, I can beat that guy, and go through all 10? Do you think they do that?
Without a doubt. I was sitting up there at the top of the course talking to riders. They're like, yeah, I've already seen one guy that I can beat, so we'll see.
It looks like we're going to start things out. Benjamin Bennett, 20 years old, our first competitor dropping in.
So there's that start step down. We were talking about it at the top of the show where for a rider who hasn't ridden a slopestyle competition before, that's something really difficult to trick, vertical drop. Now we're getting into these jumps that are more similar to what riders practice on with this on-off box. Now Benjamin, this is his first slopestyle contest, so you're not seeing him trick that on-off box, but a big suicide no-hander on the dirt-to-dirt, finishing things off with a tuck no-hander. So there you go. That's the variety of the tricks. Two different types of no-handers on the last two jumps.
Well, and Benjamin, 20 years old, you know, he's just started dirt jumping only about 3 years ago, according to his bio, and hasn't competed in a lot of contests. So it's probably got to feel pretty good to get top to bottom and just in one piece.
Yeah, the nerves related to your first slopestyle contest, sitting up there in the start gate, getting ready to hit a step down, just getting one in the bag, getting a few tricks in there, and being able to build upon that in the second run. Definitely he has the adrenaline flowing now, and he'll be able to kind of stack on top of that foundation for run 2.
Yeah, and you're 20 years old, too, so it's like you're on the come up right now, so don't try and go too big right off the bat. Just get a run in under your belt, maybe step up the degree of difficulty on a second run for him, Cam.
And Benjamin Bennett, he can now say that he's a slopestyle rider.
He can say that
There
because
it is.
he is competing in it for his first ever run. So coming up for you, 26 total riders out here. And as Cam said earlier, it is a 2-run format, and your best run counts. And I always wonder, Cam, what was your thought process going into it? Do you want to stick the 1 run in your mind, or do you want to step it up for a second run?
For qualifying, when you have to beat 10 people, you definitely want to get one in the bag. And your strategizing starts in practice. You're looking around at who your competition is, but getting one in the bag, one top to bottom decent score, and then kind of going for it a little bit more in the second run. That's typically what you see a lot of the riders do.
And will they also gauge out what the other riders are doing, watching the scores come in and see what other riders have done, maybe adjust their second and final run because of what other riders are getting scored on?
Yeah, sometimes you're at the start and they have a monitor up there, so they're able to actually see what every rider does before them. And sometimes a rider just really sends it, and you look at your own plan, and then you start to make amendments to it. You go, oh, I'm going to have to send it a little bit more if I'm going to be able to hang and beat 10 of these guys.
Hey, you got to be proactive. You got to work on the fly, right?
Yeah, exactly. Improvisation is definitely a part of slopestyle.
So coming up for you, you're going to see Ryan Biggs. He had said in his bio that he's never ridden a slope course before. Well, he has now because he's done it for practice, but this is his first major contest. So he's going to be coming up. And then the OG slopestyle legend himself, Mr. Mitch Chubby. It seems like he has been at every single one and has competed at every single one of these CFFs except 1 year with an injured leg, I think was 2012 or 2013, he did not compete.
Sounds about right. Yeah, he's been called the journeyman of the sport. It's great to see him out here. But Ryan Biggs, the kid we have in the start tower right now, I'm really excited for this rider. He's out of Australia. I've known him for about 3 years. He came to summer gravity camps, and he was in my group, and we had a lot of really good riding. So to see him now at the starting line of a slopestyle contest, I'm pretty excited for him.
So you met him at 15 because he's only 18 years old for Ryan Biggs. So he was just a youngster when you met him, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he had tricks back then. If you're following his Instagram account, Ryan Biggs MTB, the kid has absolutely been sending it out in Utah. He's dropping in, Brad.
Here we go. Ryan Biggs, first run for him today.
All the way from Australia. This kid's got a lot of tricks, and he's really smooth. He's got a lot of good fluidity. We're going to need to add some tricks here. Coming into, there we go, the Powerade hip right into the Maxxis on-off box. Straight air on, straight air off. Now this is where he's going to shine. He rides a lot of dirt jumps down there in Australia. Straight air on the monster dirt to dirt into the Maxxis Money Booter with a big old backflip. There we go, one in the bag for Ryan Biggs.
Ryan Biggs right there, run number 1 for him, able to kind of stretch out that backy on the Money Booter right at the end, also known as the Maxxis Money Booter. Take a look at the replays here, Cam.
So yeah, I was talking about how he has really good fluidity. Like that backflip right there, he corked his head out a little bit, adding some style to what would otherwise be a normal backflip. And there we go, corking the head out as well. So he's got his own distinct style on those tricks, and you notice his landings are always really smooth.
And you can see a little bit of cloud cover right there. The weather cooperating with us today. So we're very happy to know that we're going to be able to keep things going here in your qualifier for your Maxxis Slopestyle Open. A chance to earn 2 wildcard spots to compete out there in Joyride and earn a spot on the FMB Tour for the Diamond Tour next year. So big deal there. And you got Nikolai Rogatkin looking for his first ever win at CFF with 3 podiums to boot. And Max Frederiksen, good to have him back in the mix after being injured. A guy that definitely could shake things up, but a lot of other guys that could shake things up too as well. So we're talking about Mitch Chubby, and he is coming up for you next. I was kind of going over his bio stuff today, and I wrote OG slopestyle legend, and then I went to the bio that he wrote, and he had wrote OG slopestyle rider. So Mitch Chubby, definitely OG when it comes to slopestyle competitions. And it's good to see him on the bike out here, and has competed in every single year except for one. So a 10-time competitor at your Colorado Free Ride Festival, ready to drop in for you here from Canada, 28 years old. He's locked and loaded.
And Mitch is one of those guys who's been on the Diamond Series. He's looking to get back on, but definitely making the most out of all the trips this year. He was following earlier events on the season. He's got a day job, so he basically saves up his money to fund these trips, and then once he shows up to the top of the slopestyle course, he absolutely just drops the hammer. He never holds back, so we're all excited for this run. Mitch Chubby dropping in with a big backflip off the CFF drop into the trestle wall ride with a topside tail whip, feet going straight onto those pedals like you'd expect from a veteran like Mitch Chubby, into the power right hip with a front flip.
Yes!
Perfect rotation. Can't emphasize enough how difficult that trick is. A tail whip onto the Maxxis on-off box, a bar spin down. Great job comboing that feature. A seat grab Indian air straight into the Maxxis money booter with a backflip tail whip, stomping it right to the pedals. Well, that's going to be the top run we've seen all day. Nice
yeah.
work, Mitch Chubby.
Look, I'm not a judge, nor have I ever been a judge, but yes, I got to say that's going to be our #1 score of the day right now for Mitch Chubby.
Without a doubt. We don't make a habit out of speaking for the judges, but you know, Mitch kind of left no questions there. 360, that New Belgium up log, and that backflip tail up to cap things off. The feet going right to the pedals, that really is what's going to make the difference. He'll obviously go into the lead right now, but he'll be able to hold on to a good ranking because his execution was so on point, top to bottom.
Yeah, top to bottom. You can tell that he is definitely a slopestyle OG when it comes down to it because, like you said, he's all about just throwing the hardest tricks that he can do. He's not going to take it easy. He's going to come out swinging. You saw that the top of the podium was wide open at this point, or the top to get in to be your #1 qualifier. So you might as well come out swinging, and that's exactly what he did. Mitch Chubby, score coming in 67.3, so Mitch Chubby will grab the top spot with that one, 67.3 with that score. So that's also got to say something. When you look at that, that's a great run for Mitch Chubby, but that only is netting him a 67.3. We could see scores in the 90s as we get into the thick of things. Nick Hilton is going to be our next guy coming up. He is 22 years old. He's out of Bishop, California, just outside of Mammoth Mountain. Started racing BMX first, but now he's ready to throw down slopestyle. Nick Hilton.
Yes, this kid is an absolute madman on two wheels. BMX, mountain bike, it doesn't matter. If you follow his Instagram account, you'll see him doing crazy stuff on both types of bikes, riding with guys like Nikolai Rogakin. So this is his opportunity to carve out his spot in the Slopestyle World Tour. Some great tricks up top, a flat drop backflip off the Maxxis on-off box, a front flip, long dart style on the dirt-to-dirt. One last feature, the Maxxis money booter with a straight backflip. Great run for Nick Hilton.
So Nick Hilton, put your hands together, people here at Winter Park. Nick Hilton, run #1 for him. You see him kind of shaking his head on the no. I think it was maybe on the up on the Maxxis on and off box. Probably wanted to trick that going up.
Some major highlights in that run. The backflip is somewhat stock for him off that step down. Let's get into some of those more difficult features.
That right there, he probably wanted something there.
The dirt-to-dirt feature. So the backflip off the flat drop, that's really what separates the men from the boys. And we didn't see it in that replay, but the lawn dart front flip, meaning that he's staring at the landing as he's jumping off of the lip. Front flipping that, you know he was looking for another combination on the last jump, but he's got another run for that. That was a great run.
Well, let's see. Does he stack up there by Chubby with the 67.3? 59.3 for Nick Hilton, 59.3 for him. So he will get just below Mitch Chubby, our two top scores of the day so far, as we are set for Zach Lewis. There he is right there. Man, talk about an OG when it comes down to it. Zach Lewis has been doing it for a while, hasn't he?
He rode the first slopestyle event on this hillside back in 2007.
So rad.
Maybe the only guy in the field right now who was riding that contest back when it started. So it's exciting to see him still here. He's always got a few moves for the fans down on that last jump.
Well, in his bio, he says that one of his highlights is always beating Joel Alamo, is what he always wants to do, is beat Joel. Well, Joel not in this one, but Zach Lewis is in this one.
How about outlasting Joel? Does that count?
You know what? That should count right there. Doing it in a big way for plus-size BMX, as we got Zach Lewis dropping in. First run for Zach, the OG himself.
Zach's the local boy, the showman, always coming out with the bright colors. Talking to him today in practice, it sounds like he's planning on going upside down at some point out here. Let's see if it's going to be on this hip. There was a backflip for Zach Lewis into the Maxxis on-off box.
He's up it.
He's off it. And what's it going to be off that last jump? He was hinting to us up here in the booth earlier. Oh, coming up short.
Oh, that's going to ruin
on the
him on
dirt to dirt. That'll be the end of Zach Lewis's first run, but he'll have another chance to get back up there and make good on that slight case. One more feature to go for that to be a top to bottom run.
And he'll look to that. But Zach right there competing in just about every single one. I think he only missed one he was talking about.
Because he was on America's Got Talent. Now, if you're going to miss CFF, you better have a good reason. That's a pretty good reason. He said he made it to the semifinals. He was on TV.
That's pretty good then. Okay, so I can see why the 1 year he stayed out of it. So let's take our attention back up top for our Maxxis Slopestyle Open course here for qualifications. As we get set for our next rider, looks like we should be seeing David Lieb up next, 20 years old. He's out of Michigan. And dropping in for you next. Here we go. Let's see what David has for us on his first run.
David Lieb, you don't see a lot of riders entering a slopestyle contest out of Michigan. A 360 at the top drop, a topside tail whip to tabletop, huge combo on the wall, a downside 360 tail whip on the log. This is a ridiculous run. Backflip bar spin on the Powerade hip into the on-off box. An opposite tail whip up, linking it to a bar spin down. Two more features. The dirt to dirt, it's going to be a double tail whip, his regular direction into the last jump. A 360 table, great extension. Wow, this kid.
Where did that come from the 20-year-old out of Michigan, which Michigan's kind of flat, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you've got guys like Reed Boggs who grew up in Ohio. He actually grew up riding with David Lieb here. This is David's first slopestyle contest. And man, is he looking strong. Combos like that tail whip to tabletop. Really hard to link those two tricks together on one feature. A fly out quarter pipe wall ride. Now that double tail whip is gonna mean even more because he did an opposite tail whip up the on-off box, and the extension on that 360 tabletop, reminiscent of something like Martin Soderstrom, who won out here a few years ago.
Well, David Lieb waiting for his score to come in. I did notice first place in the Toronto Jam that he did have a result from this year. So showing you that he's got the skills, he's got the big tricks, he's got the technical ability as well. And the good news is about David, only 20 years old, Cam. So a youngster in the mix out here proving his own. So Liam Wallace we'll be taking a look at. He'll be coming at you after that. We got Zach West, Max Angel coming up. Matt Dennis on the way. Qualifications underway on a beautiful blue sky day here at Winter Park, Colorado. Cam McCall, Brad J on the mic, bringing it to you. Join us tomorrow. ColoradoFreerideFestival.com. You can catch the finals. Will be happening tomorrow after we narrow this field of 26 down to our top 16. So 16 move on and 10 go home.
I think we're still looking for a score for David Lieb here. Some of the tricks that he had in that run, like the 360 downside tail whip, definitely going to have the judges wondering, whoa!
So 79.3 right there. There's your new leader. Lieb coming out on a big one and dropping a big score, 79.3, almost into the 80s.
Well deserved. For his first big slopestyle contest, throwing out tricks that we don't see very often, tricking all the drops.
He's got to feel pretty darn good about that. Liam Wallace locked and loaded, ready to drop in. Another youngster in the mix. He's just 19 years old. And here he goes right now, dropping in, doing it for Morpheus out of Canada.
Liam Wallace is one of those riders who's got all the tricks and all the consistency to put it together, looking for that big breakout, flipping the cannon log, landing low. Wow, tire flies off the rim. That's going to be the end of that run, but he's so fired up. Oh, that's too bad. I really wanted to see what he was going to do. He was looking on fire in practice, really linking together tricks back to back on all these features with a lot of energy, too. The pace that he has is like an aggressive pace, a little bit too aggressive for that back tire to handle, apparently.
Well, he was fired up 100% on that one. That's got to be frustrating. How do you take that out of your mind, Cam, in a situation like that? You're having a good run, you get a blowout. How do you get rid of that for the next run?
Well, the tough part is that if you were to put him back at the top of the course right now while the adrenaline is flowing, that would be the ideal scenario, but he's going to have to wait. He's going to have to fix it. It's a tedious task, fixing a flat tire, and then wait for his run. But flipping that cannon log right there, it's a little bit off camber, like you mentioned at the beginning of the show, and you have to kind of lean off the side of the bike to hip and land at the same angle of the landing, and it looked like he landed a little low and a little sideways.
And that's popped the tire right off right there. Zach West is coming up for you next. Zach also does some downhill and finished up at second place at Sea Otter in a category 3 race. Does a little bit of surfing as well, and 18 years old, Zach West.
He's out of Morgan Hill, California. I was talking to him earlier. It sounds like they're looking to build some slopestyle features out there, so he has something to train on. But this is his first slopestyle contest as well. That's what's so great about this contest. There we go, nice tail whip for Zach. The great thing about this contest is that it gives riders like Zach an opportunity. It's an open, it's not an invitational. You can show up, put your name on the dotted line, do big Supermans like that. Backflip to finish things off for Zach West. There we go, your first slopestyle run in your new career there, Zach West.
I like how you said that about it because, you know, you think about it, this also proves how you stack up against the other riders too. It can compare yourself. Maybe you've not competed in a slopestyle course before. Now you're going against some top names. You see how you do against them, right?
And you learn a lot about yourself in your first slopestyle competition as well. You learn how you operate under pressure. And judging by what we just saw, he's good under pressure. He was a little bit more refined in his run than what we saw in practice. So definitely could be a bright future for Zach West.
So Zach West, we'll see what that one score to beat. But right now, 79-3. David Lieb has put down the best score of the day. Mitch Chubby not too far behind with a 67-3 for Chubes. And then a 59-3 for Nick Hilton. So those are your scores right now. And for Zach West, what is that score going to be in for him? So he checks in with a 36 even for Zach West. Now we're taking a look back up top. Max ready to go. Max Langell next. For Transition Bikes out of Canada, out of Calgary. Dropping in for his first run, 19 years old. Here's Max.
Max is another kid that I met a few years ago, coaching camps up there in Whistler at Summer Gravity Camps. A bar spin to tuck no hander, comboing the wall ride quarter pipe feature. A 360 on the cannon log into the Powerade hip with a backflip bar spin to tuck no hander.
Nice.
So combinations for days out of the young Canadian, Max Langell. An opposite 360 up, a regular 360 down on the on-off box, taking pedals. Oh, coming up short. Wow, rolling out smooth from that crash, but that was a tough one for Max Langell. He was really on track for a great run.
We saw him kind of holding his back a little bit. He's got his hands up. Let's put our hands together for Max. Glad he is okay.
That's too bad. He was really on a good one right there. Opposite 360 up, regular 360 down, and when you're comboing tricks on that on-off box, sometimes it can be hard to carry speed. Starting things off with a backflip, then this is going to score high. The bar spin to tuck no-hander. There we go, spinning his unnatural direction. Really difficult to do, and important that he linked it into his regular direction on the down, but not enough speed for that dirt-to-dirt feature, going for the tuck no-hander. And if we know Max, he probably had a combination planned for that too, but it's going to have to wait until next run.
And that's the one. You just got to be patient and try and put it together on your second and final run. When you just got to be in the top 16. So when we start getting to we start mentioning your bubble score, that'll be your top 16. That'll be the final transfer spot. 31-7 for Max. He can improve on that. He was having a good run. If he lands that second run, you know, he could probably get himself up in that top 16. And now we look up top to Matt Dennis to see what Matt Dennis can bring to the party. 6th place at the GoPro Mountain Games. They call him Augie. And here's Matt Dennis for his first attempt out here at CFF.
Yeah, like you said, they call him Aussie, originally hailing from Australia, but now living up there in BC. And you know what I love about this kid is his aggression. Wait till he drops into this course. He has so much power behind all of his moves. A backflip bar spin, fumbling the handlebars, but recovering on the start step down. Now recovering on that wall ride, a truck driver, a 360 bar spin off the New Belgium uplog, a 720.
Gets it.
So he's definitely bouncing back after that minor bobble. 360 up, which is was his opposite direction, a regular 360 down, another backflip bar spin on the dirt to dirt. Can he carry speed into the last jump? Musters out a backflip to save face. There were some real moments of brilliance in that run.
Boy, you look at that second to last jump, kind of cases a little bit, then you're wondering, does he even have enough speed to get over the Maxxis money booter? But he knew how to get it in there and throw it down. So right there, looking at what he is all about, Max Dennis landing that run.
So that backflip bar spin, that was mega off the start. This opposite 360 up, linking it to the regular 360 down. Another part of this run that's going to score high. And you know, if you know Matt Dennis, he was looking for a combo right there. So he'll be thinking about that next run, but that's still going to be a respectable score.
And once again, the best score of the day so far, 79-3, David Lieb. You're wondering, what? Who's David Lieb? Well, he's the guy with the top score right now, 79-3, if you're just joining us. Colorado Free Ride Festival. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure you're taking some pictures and hashtagging CFF 2017. Hashtag all your shots, CFF 2017. And you can also check CFF on Facebook too, Colorado Free Ride Festival on Facebook, or ColoradoFreeRideFestival.com. And if you people that are joining us out here today and you're just watching it, you can let your friends know that this is on right now. The broadcast is on ColoradoFreeRideFestival.com. So people listening, text your buddies that aren't here and let them know they can watch this on TV right now. So Matt Dennis, 63-3. So that's a good score right there. Matt Dennis, 63-3.
Well, he's sitting in a good spot because he's already in third place, but you know he's got a lot of improvement that he's capable of for run 2. So good job, Matt Dennis.
So we've seen Matt Dennis, and now we'll take our attention to DJ Brandt. DJ Brandt going to be coming up. Oh, no, Chris Raybear is. So Chris Raybear, we're getting word that he was not going to be competing in a qualifier, but he is back up top, so Raybear is good to go.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be a bit of a gladiator to compete in slopestyle, and you can take some hits in practice. Chris Raybear doing just that, but after pulling out of the contest, deciding he's going to get back up there and give it a go. So that's great to see.
26 years old. Chris Raybear now is ready to go. This will be his first run. Said he got into biking because he sucked at skateboarding. That was what he wrote on his bio. So.
Hey, that's as good of a reason as any, right?
Honest, man.
And guess what? You're really good at riding bikes, so I think that was a great decision. All the way out of Switzerland, Chris Raybear, topside tail whip on the trestle wall ride, linking that into a 360 on the cannon log into the Powerade hip. 360 tabletop, that's one of the real strengths of this rider right here is the extension on those tabletops. A front flip onto the on-off box, linking it to a 360 down. Well, good thing he decided to ride this first qualifying run here. He's on a good one. Finishing things off with a backflip, bar spin, but going too long.
And Raybear goes down big on that Maxxis money booter. We definitely send out the positive vibe. We hope he is okay on that one. That looked like a tough crash, almost down to the flats for Raybear on that one. Give him all the time he needs to make sure he is okay. DJ Brandt will be coming up. Then Holt smash on the way. Josh Holt will be coming up after that. Frank Paulin. And it's one of these events here, Cam, where when we talk about Maxxis Slopestyle, it's an open. So you, even if you got on the podium last year, that doesn't mean you go straight to the finals. You still got to earn your spot no matter what. How hard is that?
I mean, it definitely doesn't favor anybody who's been around and has clout. You have to be performing on the day. And I think the sport needs an open. And this competition definitely fills that vital role of giving the amateurs the opportunity to become pros.
And it also expects, when it comes down to this is the only gold event or the biggest event that we have in America today. That's why this event is so important here in the Maxxis Slopestyle Open, right?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you can look at all the careers that were started here, and we're seeing riders like the guy we have in the lead right now, David Lee.
Yeah.
You know, he could be our big story here in terms of the wild card hunt.
Indeed. Well, coming up for you, we'll get the rest of the riders. They are ready to go. They're frothing to drop in this course. We'll give Raybear all the time that he needs to get up from that crash he had there. And we'll be right back with more. Stay with us. Your Maxxis Slopestyle Open, the qualifiers, coming up as we return.
I've been mountain biking for almost a year now. It's really, really fun. There's a lot of suspension in your bike and it's really fun to bounce around. There's a lot of stuff hidden in the trails, like mini ramps and jumps and wooden features. If a kid, you should mountain bike. It's a lot of fun. I want to mountain bike till I'm 50. I'm Indy, and I'm 7 years old, and I love to mountain bike.
And we are back here. First runs going on for your Maxxis Slopestyle qualifiers right now. The finals for tomorrow. 26 riders today. We narrow that field down to your top 16 will make it into the finals for tomorrow. But we're still about halfway through the first runs. And DJ Brandt is going to be our next rider to drop in out of Grand Junction. 23 years old, doing it for Mongoose. And let's see what he is all about here. DJ Brandt for his first run today. Cameron McCall, Brad J with the call. Here comes DJ.
DJ Brandt always gets the crowd going, not only because he's from Colorado, but he just puts together his runs with this pace that you're seeing right now, tricking absolutely everything, flipping the new Belgium uplog, carrying momentum into that.
Yeah.
Wow, the power rate hit a 360 tail whip, catching the pedals and doing a tabletop, flipping up on top of the Maxxis on-off box, 360 down. Final two features, Monster Dirt to Dirt, big corked out backflip, Maxxis Money Booter, backflip tail, catching early. Wow, this kid is on fire.
DJ Brandt in the house. Let's hear it for the local boy out of Grand Junction. Dropping a good one on that one. Take a look here.
Well, we said he gets the crowd going, and if you can
Sure does.
hear them like we can hear them, I don't know what those microphones are picking up, but they're roaring. Last two features, corked out flip with that style that only DJ Brandt can execute. And then speaking of execution, backflip tail up, catching those pedals early. The judges love when your feet stay on the pedals on the landing, but they also love it even more when you catch those pedals early. DJ rocking the bleached hair this year.
DJ Brandt. Let's wonder what score is going to be for him. Trying to get up in the top, man.
Oh, he blew out his tire on the last jump.
I heard that. I was wondering if that was his tire right at the end there.
Must have started loosening up off the bead earlier up on the course, because his landing on that last Maxxis Money Booter was completely perfect. Like they call it in skateboarding, it was bolts, right? You skateboard, Brad.
It was definitely bolts on that one. And if you're going to get a blowout on your tire, probably after you land on the Maxxis Money Booter, that's okay to do there.
Yeah, dramatic fireworks at the bottom.
Yeah.
Land your last
Take a
trick
look
and
at
boom.
So DJ Brandt, can he beat a 79.3? Can he beat a 59.3 or a 67.3? Here we go. Judges say 64.3 going to be the score for DJ Brandt. So still David Lieb, the leader.
Ooh, look who we got next, Brad.
We got Josh Holt now, BMX legend, ready to throw down here. 33 years old. First place at AT Showdown just a couple of years ago. 2009, your Dew Tour BMX champ. Best trick winner in Kamikaze Games in 2014 at Mammoth. But this man has meant so much to BMX, but he's made the change over. And we see him riding a lot of mountain biking now. So this would be a chance for him to earn him back into the Diamond Series. Josh Holt coming in hot, first run.
Josh Holt, the tall guy out of Idaho with so much aggression. Truck driver to start things off on the CFF drop. A tail whip into the trestle wall ride. It looked like an opposite tail whip there on the new Belgium uplog. 360 downside tail whip. Nice smooth execution on that for Josh Holt. Backflip bar spin up. Great combination, linking that into the 360 down. Two more features, front flip, tuck no-hander. Whoa. Landing smooth into the final jump. A backflip Superman with huge extension.
Yes. Give it up, get loud for Josh Holt. Holt smash on that one, top to bottom, good run.
Oh, he's so good to see him put together a run. He has a tendency to have these tiny little mistakes, but he always puts in huge bangers and great variety, like that opposite tail up on the cannon. Then big combo, backflip bar spin up, 360 down. But my favorite part of this run, the last two jumps. Front flip tuck no hander, linking it right into a backflip Superman. Look at the space between his bike and his body. That's what gets the judges excited.
Yeah, I like the fronty as well as that extension on that Superman, because the extension on Superman, he holds that for a long time. But that front flip, he goes so high on that front flip and just puts the landing gear down and stomps that thing solid.
A really well-rounded run too, like the last two features, a front flip variation into a back flip variation, tail whips, multiple directions. Truck driver off that CFF drop, definitely super difficult. First time we've seen somebody do that in competition today in our qualifying round.
Now we are running in reverse points order on the FMB, so that's why you're seeing the guys where they're placed. Our last rider today will be Nikolai Rogatkin, because he is number 2 on the FMB Diamond Series rankings. So you go from the top guys down to the bottom. Josh Holt right there in the middle of things, trying to beat a 79.3. That's the score he's trying to beat. Does Josh Holt do it right here? He gets an 80. Josh Holt, #1 spot.
I'm happy to see that. I knew the judges must have been crunching the numbers, thinking first, second, where do we put them? But it's great to see that run rewarded. That was a banger.
And you got to look at it this way too. Top 16 move on. You got to think an 80 will definitely be in the top 16 when the smoke clears.
You got to beat 10 people, and I'd say an 80 is going to do that.
Yep, indeed. Frank Paulin now coming up for you next. He's out of France, 24 years old, 10th place, heir to the throne in 2016. Looking to see what he can do right now. Frank Paulin dropping in first run.
Great to see Frank Paulin out here all the way from France. Like you said, a backflip tabletop in the start feature, a tabletop on the trestle wall ride. And that was an opposite tail up on the New Belgium uplog. A front flip with huge amplitude, coming up a little short, but 100% keeping speed. Backflip up, a 360 down on the Maxxis on off box. Oh, the speed is going to be a problem on the Monster dirt to dirt, coming up short. Too bad that run was shaping up.
You could see that's more of a frustration than being in pain right there. He knew that he was having a good run. About 30 to 40% of that run was pretty solid.
Yeah, and you've seen this happen a couple times now when the riders are tricking on and off of the Maxxis on-off box. Sometimes they land a little bit low on the step down, and their speed is slightly compromised for that dirt-to-dirt feature. We're looking back at that opposite tail whip on the Cannon log. You know, he was kind of doing that, so he was saving regular tail whip variations for some other feature down on the course. That front flip had great amplitude, but here's where the train came off the tracks. That jump is the longest jump on the course, and we've seen a couple riders come up short on it now.
Well, when everything is pretty close together, you look at where the Maxxis on-off box is, and then you go to the Monster dirt to dirt, then the Maxxis Money Booter. Those are all three pretty close together. So you really got to land high up on those transitions to keep the speed going, and a 34 for him on that one. So he'll look to improve on that as we get set for another OG legend, Paul Genovese from Canada, now ready to drop in. And Genovese's been at it for a while. You look at what he's done. Had a 5th place finish, Colorado Freeride Festival 2014, a couple years ago. 12th, was he last year 12th? The slopestyle veteran, Paul Genovese.
If you follow this sport, you have no choice but to pull for this kid right now, trying to get back on the Diamond Series. An injury last year knocked him off, but so far looking great. Opposite tail up for him too, off that New Belgium uplog. A double tail up his regular direction. Now this is a guy who's been on the Diamond Series. You're seeing huge execution, great variety. He trains with Logan Pete, Brandon Semenuk. Backflip bar spin, having no problem clearing that Monster dirt to dirt. Oh, backflip Superman C-grab off the Maxxis Money Booter, straight to pedals. Oh, that's one of the only guys in the field you're gonna see doing that trick, and the extension he puts on it, so on point.
And like you're saying, coming back from injury, just good to see him have a good run, top to bottom, Cam.
Backflip bar spin is going to score real high on the CFF drop, and then linking features like that opposite tail up off the uplog into the double tail up off the Powerade hip, a Superman C-Crab, Indian Air, great variety, linking that to the 360 down. But my favorite part of the run, without a doubt, that backflip Superman C-Crab, unique and so difficult.
Well, Paul Genovese right there with 10 more guys to come up. Has his first run under his belt. We'll see where that score nets him right now. The top score of the day so far is at 80. We saw at a Josh Holt. Holt smashing that one all the way to an 8-0. Only scores that we've seen in the 80s so far. So as we get set for Griffin Paulson is coming up for you next. Paul Genovese just finishing up run number 1.
We're definitely getting into the meat of the order, aren't we?
Yeah, we sure are. Look at got a lot of big names coming up through this one. You got Braden Barrett, Anton Taylander coming up, Lucas Knob, Eric Fedko on the way, Jakob Wenzel, Reed Boggs, Logan Pete, Nyquist, Max Fredrickson, and Nikolai Rogatkin all still to come in that order. Dying to see where they put Genovese in this mix right now.
Oh man, I still have goosebumps from that backflip Superman Seacrowd. That was so good.
Here we go, Paul Genovese score coming in. 79.7, that's second place right there. So looking good, 79.7. That'll put him second right behind Josh Holt. Griffin Paulson now, take our attention up top for him, 20 years old. 5th place this year at the Glen Ride. French rider, dropping in next, first run for him.
Well, Griffin Paulson all the way from France, backflip, looking like he was trying to get the tuck-no-hander on that CFF drop. A nice tail whip carrying speed on the trestle wall ride, a 360 on the New Belgium uplog into the power right hip with a backflip tail up. Oh, landing smooth. I like how flat he was on that rotation. Missing the trick on the step up, but getting the 360 down. What does he have for us on the last 2 features? Huge front flip with great style. Last jump, double backflip. Perfect.
It down.
Whoa! The first double backflip we've seen today.
I love the combo going to the front flip and then going to the double backy on the Maxxis Money Booter right at the end.
Is this mic'd up back here?
And both of them absolutely perfect too. The style on the front flip and then being so calm on that double backflip. Taking a look back at the replay here, a 360. That backflip tail, it's slightly hipped. That's why we call that the Powerade hip. And you have to adjust to make sure you put your bike on the same angle as the landing. That front flip, like you said, Brad, perfect. Double backflip, perfect.
Now the only thing, I mean, going up to the Maxxis on-off box, probably wants a trick going up onto that on-off box. And if he adds that on the second run, got to wonder what the score's going to be. Still wondering what the score's going to be on that one because that's a good run. Just for the only thing that he didn't have in there was that trick going up the.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to judge because you have big moments like the double backflip and the big front flip, but then kind of little blemishes on the record with missing the trick on the Maxxis step up. Getting a trick down, though, that's going to save him, but the judges look at these runs through a microscope.
There we go. Griffin Paulson checking in 73, so the judges like the run. Yeah, you got to think, with that 73, he gets a trick going up the Maxxis on box right there, and he's going to bust that thing up even higher. So 73 for him on that one. Very respectable score. Taking a look right there. There you see Holt on that top spot. You got 6 with Brandt in that 6th spot, then Chubby, Paulson 4, Lieb 3, Genovese in that 2nd spot, and then Holt the number 1 spot. And then you see all the way down to that 12. And right now, when we talk about 16 move on, so even Bennett in that 12 spot, 32.7, you know, that's still right now, that's still in the top 16. Braden Barrett Hay, BBH, ready to drop in for you, 25 years old, doing it for Mongoose, IXS Protection as well. He'll be our next rider. And one thing I didn't know, he used to have a pet cow. Did you know that about him, Cam?
I feel like I may have heard that at some point. That's super relevant to if I didn't know that, I wouldn't know what to expect out of this run right here, but he has had a pet cow in the past. Another thing he's done in the past is he's been in the Diamond Series. So he's another one of those riders looking to get back in. A 360 C-Grub Indian Air.
Sick.
That's going to score high for unique variations. There we go, opposite 360 up, regular 360 down, a backflip tuck, no hander. The last jump, the Maxxis Money Booter, a backflip tail whip. Man, that kid had a cow growing up for sure.
Yeah, you can tell by the way he rode.
The crowd's having a cow right now. That was a great run.
BB8, Braden Barrett Hay, 25 years old from Mongoose. Good stuff right there. That's a good run. Let's take a look at the highlights.
Oh, it's so good to see him back on form. Injury plagued for a few years, looking to get back on that Diamond Series. A great finish here at Colorado Freeride Fest would do that. Opposite spin up, regular spin down, backflip, tail up on the last jump. But that 360 seat grab Indian air on the Powerade hip, that is something that's similar to seeing Paul Genovese doing that backflip Superman seat grab on the last jump. The judges like to see tricks that are different. We saw Paul get scored high, so I would imagine Braden Barrett Hayes is going to be looking pretty good.
Well, Genovese only in that second spot right now, so he's just behind Holt with that 80. So we're seeing some tightly paired, couple of 79s and an 80 now in the mix. So we wait for Braden's score to come in. Where is he going to factor in all this? Is Paul Rack, our head judge, and the rest of the judges doing an amazing job out there, as they always do. Braden Barrett Hay. The Mongoose Rider waiting for that one to come in for him. Does he challenge those top three? Here we go. Score coming in for Braden. 75-7. That's a good one right there.
Nice. That'll make his cow proud.
I don't know if he still has the pet cow.
Well, I'm sure the cow's looking down upon him from a better place.
Or the cow is watching the broadcast, so you never know. Anton Thelander coming up. He'll be our next rider to drop in. This man has done it for many years, killing it. 16th CFF, 2015, 13th in 2016, a third in 2013. Now, Anton was on the podium that year in 2013. Also, that was a big year for him. That was fourth at Joyride as well. So here we go. Anton Thelander coming up for you. Here's his first run for the Swede.
Oh, backflip bar spin on the step down with absolute precision. I mean, you coined a nickname for him, Brad. Tell us the nickname.
Hashtag Cleanlander for a reason, because this guy's got the cleanest landings in the book.
Look at these landings. 360 tail up, feet right to the pedals, bike exactly where it needs to be on the landing, an opposite 360 up, flat flip down. This is the Anton Thelander we know and love right here. Corked out backflip, one last trick opportunity. Maxxis Money Booter, backflip, tail whip for Anton Thelander.
Every landing so clean by Anton right there. Let's hear it for him.
He's back on form. You were kind of listing off his accolades from the past, but slopestyle is such a tough and taxing sport. So battling injuries, but looking right back to where he was when he was on the podium here years ago.
Well, the Swede's so strong, from Martin Soderstrom to Anton to Max Fredriksson to Emilio Hansen. The Swedes are definitely bringing their A games.
So Anton's another one of those guys who's been on the Diamond Series, definitely with his eye on one of those two available wild card spots. A run like this definitely is what you need to do to make a bid for one of those spots and see what the judges are going to do with that run.
And that's what we talk about. You got those two wild card spots available. So if you're not in the Diamond Series right now, you haven't earned a spot in a Joyride, this is where all that can happen out here. And that's why Colorado Freeride Festival and the Maxxis Slopestyle Open is so important to so many riders, having those two final cards, those wild card spots, Cam. And 74-7 for Anton, 74-7. So up in that top 10 for sure. That's one of those scores that you got to think that possibly could hold it up. But then again, you look at all the guys to come, including this guy, Lucas Knopf, who's coming up next. He was a 9th place top 10 finish for him last year. A 6 at the Swatch Rocket Air. Another good result for him was a 4th at Bike Days from Germany, Lucas Knopf.
Yeah, Lucas Knopf out of Germany has some absolutely vicious tricks. Like that flare right there on the trestle wall ride. We haven't seen anybody do that yet. Truck driver off of the Cannon feature into the Powerade hip, 360 tuck no hander to bar spin, absolutely sprinting into this Maxxis on-off box. He needed that speed for that backflip tuck no hander, linking it to a 360 bar spin down, a front flip on the Monster Dirt to Dirt into the Maxxis Money Booter with a bar spin to tail whip.
Oh, at the end.
Great trick variety in that run.
See, that's why mid-70s right now is not a safe place to be, because you got heavy hitters like Lucas coming in swinging for the fence on these two as well. He's trying to get up there. Top 16 moving to tomorrow's show. Look at the replays.
Look at this. The flare, that quarter pipe is his direction, so he takes advantage of it. A backflip tuck no hander on. The 360 down, a flip combo up, a 3 combo down. That's going to score high. And then that front flip, a tough trick to land smoothly, but he made it look easy. And then linking it to that bar spinted tail whip down. A lot of riders doing flip variations on that, so it's cool to see Lucas thinking outside the box and doing a tough combo like that bar spinted tail whip.
Yeah, he is pumped on that. Eric Fedko coming up, another German rider on the way. Then Jakob Wenzel from the Czech Republic. And we'll see Reed Boggs after that, the American rider, and Logan Pete out of Canada. Nyquist coming up, Max Fredrickson, Nikolai Rogatkin. Lucas waiting for the score to come in. Where's he going to figure in? 84.3! Are you kidding me? What?
And you know what? We have to just remind ourselves, this is qualifying.
Yeah. You can't win it today, but you sure can't lose it. But when you're dropping an 84.3 in a 2-run format on your first run, got to feel pretty good about that.
Ooh, look at this.
A couple of Germans back-to-back now. Eric Fedko coming up. He just saw his fellow countryman drop an 84.3, so he's thinking, maybe I can get up there in that mix too. Eric Fedko, you look at 19 years old, 4th at the Glen Ride. Also a motocross rider, doing it for Beto Bikes. Here's Eric.
Well, this kid has been getting a lot of people talking out here this week during practice. The backflip bar spin to start things off at the CFF, dropping alley-oop 270 bar spin on the wall into a 360 bar spin. A truck driver on the up block. There we go, 360 tail to bar spin on the Powerade hip. This could be one of those stories right here, Brad. Kid coming out relatively unknown. Here we go, 2 last jumps. A straight backflip with huge amplitude off the monster dirt to dirt into a backflip tail whip. Nice run for Eric Fedko. This kid has a look in his eye that just reminds me of guys we've seen launch their careers here, like Torquato Testa.
And look at his age, 19 years old, Cam. So he's still a youngster relative to the whole situation. A lot of guys didn't know who he was coming into it. Check out some of these highlights.
He really fits that wild card profile that we've come to know,
Exactly.
showing their face from this Colorado Freeride Festival. There we go, a tail up, a 360 down. And right here, this is one thing that's going to hurt him a little bit. The amplitude is great, but not getting a combo. A lot of riders are doing big flip combos on that. But that backflip tail up straight to the pedals, this kid's definitely been putting in the time.
Yeah, you got, like you talked about, the combo's so important to get, so he doesn't combo one of those up, but you know he could switch that up. So just a starting point on a decent score would help him out. Jakob Wenzel coming up next. As we enjoy the sights out here, Max's Slopestyle Open. Cam McCall, Brad J here with the broadcast. Join us for the finals tomorrow. Mountain time, I think our start time's 5 p.m. tomorrow. So thanks for joining us out here in Winter Park, Colorado. We are live with the qualifiers going on. Top 16 get to move on from this field of 26. The cut is 10, so 10 dudes going home, 16 moving on. Jakob Wenzel coming up. Then we're going to see the likes of Reed Boggs. Fedko, where does he go? 74.3, another good score. 74.3 for Fedko.
Yeah, if he polishes that up, gets a combination or a different trick other than that backflip on the monster dirt to dirt, you know, he can definitely move himself back up. But
you know, but in 7 still
right now, you know, all you got to do is get through to the finals tomorrow.
And now Jakob Wenzel, this guy is a destroyer when it comes to speed and style. So you know he's got the tricks, you know he's fast, but let's see if he can put it all together in the package here today. First run for him. New hairdo, here we go, dropping in Jakob Wenzel.
Jakob Wenzel backflip X up off the CFF drop. Really good amplitude with that inward table and the trestle wall ride. 360 tuck no-hander on the cannon. Great combo. What's he got for us on the hip? An opposite 360 X up, spinning his unnatural way. Now linking that to his regular direction with a 360 bar spin. Then the flat drop backflip. No transition there on that drop to help you start that backflip. Oh, a backflip toboggan to tuck no-hander. Talk about a unique combination.
Well, he knows the podium. He's been on it here before. 3rd place, 2014. So it's been a few years since he was on the podium here at CFF. But look at some of the highlights of this run of Jakob.
Yeah, a couple interesting moments on this run. Let's see if we're going to see him here in the replay. The truck driver up, this flat drop down, no kicker on that. That's why those flat drops score so high. But the backflip toboggan to tuck no-hander, basically putting his hand on the seat while being upside down, and then putting that hand back on the handlebar before taking it off again into the tuck no-hander. So traditionally, that when you see a rider doing a trick that nobody else does and nobody else really thinks about, it usually gets rewarded.
Well, Jakob, it's a waiting game for him now. He just looks at what everyone else does and kind of compare the scores and see how he ranks up in there. You're seeing mid-70s will get you pretty much the top 7, top 8. So that's where you want to be somewhere above that 75 mark, I would think, just to feel more comfortable. That's why I feel like, you know, Josh Holt's 80. That's definitely a comfortable place to be. Jakob Wenzel, he's going to check with a 72.7. So he's in the top 10. He's in 9th.
Once again, top 16 advance into tomorrow's final.
So he's not safe because there's 5 more guys to go.
And there's a whole nother run, too, so anything can happen.
So Knopp, your leader, Holt number 2, Genovese number 3, and Reed Boggs out of Hurricane, ready to drop in next. Reed Boggs, 9th, Colorado Free Ride Festival 2015. Had a few top 10s. Top 10 finish in Innsbruck just about a month and a half ago. Here we go, Reed Boggs out of the USA.
Yeah, like you said, oh no, 360 bar spin to start things off, landing just a little bit over-rotated, and that tire went kaboom. Wow, this kid has been getting some great results at all the earlier events this season. And this first run's gonna be a throwaway, so even to make it to the finals, it's gonna be all down to the wire for run number 2 of today's qualifying for Reed Boggs. Here's a replay.
There.
He was looking for 360, he got about 380, and adios back tire.
Yeah, that's one of those things. It's a fine line. You over-rotate too much, you pop that thing. If you just got to really stomp that landing, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a small margin for error on all of these features here when you're trying to do difficult combination tricks like a truck driver off of a step down. Just a little bit too much pull off the lip could mean blowing out your back tire and having to just put all the pressure on for run number 2.
Reed Boggs will go to work and see if he can get things squared away for a second and final run. Yes, that does put a little pressure on you, but it seems like he was still smiling even after that happened. Now that we take a look next up for you, that's Logan Peet getting ready to go. Logan Peet, 6th place last year, already competing on the Diamond Series. We saw him competing in Europe just about a month and a half ago for him, so he is already on there. 6th in the FMB World Rankings in 2016. Here comes Logan Peet.
Yeah, huge opportunity for a big podium out here for Logan Peet if he puts the pieces together. An opposite 360 off the CFF drop to start things off. Here we go, a regular direction truck driver, 360 bar spin into the hip. An opposite 360 bar spin, so a well-balanced run already out of the veteran here. A tail whip up the on-off box, a 360 down. What's he got for us on the last 2 straight jumps? Backflip tuck no hander with great extension, and a backflip tail up, catching early. Good run in the bag for Logan Peet.
That's what you want to do. You want to get down clean top to bottom. A little case on that bottom one, but still riding through it, powering through it. Logan Peet right there, doing it for Santa Cruz Bikes.
So there's that amplitude. You can see the separation between the top of that wall ride and his bike. The judges love that. A few years ago, they were scoring Carson Storch really high for getting above that wall ride. There we go, the tail whip up, the 360 backflip tuck no hander with great extension on the dirt to dirt. And then this is what we come to expect on the final jump from Logan Peet. Perfect execution on a backflip tail whip. Good run in the bag, and you know he has more to sprinkle on for the finals as well.
Not showing all the cards right there. Logan Peet just trying to put one in the books is what he's trying to do here today. Top 16. After all 2 runs have been completed, your top 16 riders will move into tomorrow's final. So that's where you want to be. And if you had to guess the bubble about, I would say somewhere mid to upper 70s is probably where we're going to see the cutoff. It also depends on our next 3 riders too, where they place in the mix. So Logan Peet. Logan Peet watching intensely. He really wants to know, where does he mix into this? All right, so Logan Peet score coming in. So an 82 second place for Mr. Logan Peet. That's how you do it right there.
There it is. That's why he's one of the top names in the sport, making it look routine.
So those one of those scores you got to think is going to keep him safe right there. Next up, there he is, BMX legend Ryan Nyquist to drop in for you next. And this man's been doing it for some time now. Switched from, still rides BMX, competed at X Games a couple weeks ago, but He's been full-time on the bigger bikes now. And he has been doing some solid stuff. He's already on the Diamond Series. He'll be competing in Joyride in a couple weeks. Here we go right now. The living legend, Ryan Nyquist.
Ryan Nyquist, 360 bar spin to start things off. Ooh, an alley-oop 270 suicide no-hander utilizing that front brake. There we go, a truck driver off the cannon log. What's he got for us on the Power 8 hip? A 720, nicely done with the nose down. Great access on that rotation. A backflip bar spin up, a 360 down. Great run so far for Ryan Nyquist. Extended on that suicide no-hander into the final jump. Backflip suicide no-hander, whoa!
Let's hear it for Ryan Nyquist right there. Run number 1 for him. Looked like he might have had a different plan on those final 2 jumps.
I think he's nitpicking himself. He's forgetting how great this run was from the top, the 360 bar spin down. Nobody else doing that alley-oop 270 suicide no-hander. Then the backflip bar spin up, making it look so routine. Now we're gonna get another look at what happened on this last jump. He shook his head, but he still got, looked like he was going for the backflip suicide to maybe chuck a bar spin after that, but he had to throw his right hand back on, save those bars from moving. You know, even when Ryan Nyquist has a slight bobble, it's still a trick.
So he's making his way back up, but wonder what that score is going to be for Nyquist. See, the fans are just really getting behind the man right there. He's been on a whirlwind. He moved from the West Coast to the East Coast. Before he even moved to the East Coast, he stopped by and competed at X Games, then finished that, then moved over to the East Coast, then got back over to here. So this dude has been on the go.
Yeah, Ryan Nyquist, a lot to juggle, competing in mountain biking, competing in BMX, and then let's not forget, he's a father of 3 as well. So this guy's got no spare time, but somehow finds time to practice and be on point for all these events on both wheel sizes.
So Ryan Nyquist, run number 1 for him. Max Fredriksson coming up, then Nikolai Rogatkin. Then we go back up to the top of the order. Oh my goodness, just talking to Ryan right there, trying to get his plan, and Cam pretty much called that one.
Yeah, he said he landed a little bit funny on the 360 off of the Maxxis on-off box. So we talked about it at the top of the show. Improvisation is definitely a part of slopestyle, so he improvised to get some tricks on that last 2 jumps. What's he gonna do for his score?
74.3, that's gonna put him in 8th place. So 74.3, right in the middle. Not a bad place to be. I mean, it's not super comfortable. You'd probably like to get closer to the 80s, but if he lands those 2 jumps on what he has in mind, he's gonna crack the 80s. Max Fredriksson, man, we've been talking about him for a while. You think about what he's done. You think about that 3rd place at Joyride, that was huge last year. A 6th place, he got that in Rotorua, and then the injury got him. Then it took him out of the whole mix, but he's back, he's feeling good. The collarbone issue not really bothering me as much. Says a little bit on the landings, but this guy is very talented.
Yeah, it's 100% part of the game, these injuries, and like the old saying goes, it's not how you go down and fall, it's how you get back up, and we're gonna find out how he's getting back up right now. Oh, true to form right there, a double tail up to start things off. I'd say he's back to 100% right now, Brad J. Bar spin to bar spin back off the wall ride feature, a flat drop flip off the cannon, no transition on that either. A 360 downside tail whip on the Power 8 hip. Opposite 360 bar spin into a regular 360 bar spin. Truck drivers both ways on that on-off box. A backflip tail whip on the Monster Dirt to Dirt. Maxxis Money Booter, backflip bar spin.
Max is back. Let's hear it for Max Fredriksson right there. That's a good run, top to bottom, coming back from injury and dropping a bomb out here today.
That was a lot of tricks, a lot of tail ups, a lot of bar spins. Good thing he's running that detangler there, starting things off with the double tail, and then the flip off of the cannon, scoring really high, difficult trick, difficult feature, then well-rounded. Opposite truck driver up, regular truck driver down, having to do all those tricks, the 360s and the bar spins, both directions, a backflip tail up right into a backflip bar spin, putting the bars in his lap for the no-hander. The hands didn't come off, but I have a feeling it's gonna be all right once the judges get that score.
4th place Colorado Freeride Festival for Max back in 2015. That's the closest he came to getting on a podium out here at Colorado Freeride Festival. But then his next year, 2016, was even a bigger year for him. Then he started out solid in New Zealand, but then he got injured. But Max Fredriksson, that injury behind him now, and he is looking to try and climb up that leaderboard. As the score coming in for Max Fredriksson, biggest score of the day, the 84.3.
Oh!
87.3 for Max Fredriksson. Say hello to your new leader just like that.
Well, it looks like he's back, ladies and gentlemen. This kid is right back on point. He puts in so much work to be able to pick up where he left off, and it's great to see all that paying off.
Nikolai Rogatkin, second place last year at 2016 CFF. 3 CFF podiums in the search of his first place finish. This would be a big one for him. He's done everything but the first place spot. Can he do it? This is where he made a name for himself back in 2013, earned himself a spot competing in the Diamond Series. But here we go, dropping in next, his first run, Nikolai Rogatkin.
So many wins for this kid, but Colorado Freeride Fest has eluded him. A backflip, bar spin off the top, an alley-oop 270 tail whip on the trestle wall ride, a tail up on the cannon, slipping pedals, but recovering into the power right hip with a cash roll. Wow, basically a front flip 360. Now a front flip to get on top of the Maxxis on-off box and a 360 down. Great run so far. Tuck no-hander holding the extension into the Maxxis money booter with the 1080.
And he gets it! He gets the 1080 at the end.
He made that look so casual. A trick just a couple of years ago that blew the top off of this sport, now making it look easy. Nikolai Rogatkin.
Love the recovery. He slips the pedal and comes back swinging. Doesn't even let it get to him. Watch, I think it's...
Look at that cash roll right there.
Oh, brings it around.
And the extension on that tuck no-hander, all of his tricks are rotating, so it's nice to see him throwing in just a huge extended tuck no-hander to preserve speed for what he calls the twister. Basically, same axis as that cash roll you saw him do on the Powerade hip, but he's adding another rotation into that. It's a 1080. He's the only guy out there doing it.
Oh my goodness. Well, all of our riders have taken their first run. Score to beat right now is the 87.3. Max Fredriksson dropped that one right before Nikolai. But we'll see what Rogatkin's score comes in. Does he challenge that? But you got to think, anything probably above an 82 pretty much secures you in. Here we go. Scoring for Nikolai Rogatkin. What's it going to be? Do we have a new leader?
Oh!
And an 89. He has done it. Nikolai Rogatkin in the #1 spot. Boom.
Just another day in the office for Nikolai Rogatkin.
Oh my gosh. Well, we've seen all the riders take one run, and let's take a look at how the standings are shaping up with a second and final run to go and your last chance to get into the top 16. There's your top 6 with Nikolai down to Genovese in that 6th spot. You see Josh, Logan, Lucas, and Max all nestled in 1 through 6. That looks pretty good right there for those guys. But then you move on to the next round, the 7th down. Look at, you got David Lieb, who had the lead for a while there. Bring it down to Griffin Paulson in that 12th spot with the 73. Now you start getting a little worried because those are getting to the low 70s, and you got to wonder if those are holding up. So let's take it all the way back now to show our 16th, our bubble score in the top 16. That's going to be Matt Dennis with a 63.3. That is your bubble score, but we talk about the bubble score, and I really don't think that that bubble score is going to be that low. It's going to be somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah, crazy first run. I mean, we had a few things that we were really curious about to start out the day today. Nikolai Rogatkin, Max Fredriksson, and who were our wild cards going to be? Let's start out with Nikolai Rogatkin. This is the contest he wants to win. It looks like he's looking on point to be able to pull it off after that first qualifying run.
Well, yeah, and then you look at Nikolai, what he's just done. So he's #1 spot right there. He's never finished first here at CFF, so he's on the charts to try to do that. But Max Fredriksson, okay, there was all this talk, like, is Max going to be able to do it? He's coming back from that collarbone injury, and he comes out. He's up there, too, as well, in that 2nd spot.
Yeah, and all the hard work has been paying off. He goes to the gym 6 days a week and rehabbing the collarbone, but also feeling healthy enough to get all your tricks back. That was the big question mark at the beginning of the day. Does he have all of his tricks back? He just answered that question for us.
Because he had the tricks in March when he finished 6th out there in Rotorua, but then the injury got, and that's a few months back. So It's not easy, Cam. You've been in that situation before where you get broken off and you're trying to heal up. It's not easy to keep all those tricks in your head, is it?
Yeah, it's great to see. I mean, it's a physical sport, but it's also a mental sport. So to see that Max Fredrickson made it happen, that's great. But some of our wild cards, somebody that really impressed me, David Lieb. We've never heard of him before. He could be in the mix for that wild card as well.
But you also got to look at, like I look at Lucas Knopf, another guy who put up the 84.3. Then you look at Josh Holt right there. Josh is not in the Diamond Series. He's trying to earn himself a spot. So Holt with an 80. Then you got Knopf with an 84.3. Those two guys look pretty solid for those wild card positions if they can have a second and final good run.
We get to watch them all do it again, Brad.
And guess what? So do you. You guys get to watch it too. Because you know what's coming up? The second and final runs of your Maxxis Slopestyle Qualifier live from Winter Park, Colorado. The second run's coming up. Don't go away.
The Maxxis Slopestyle Open at Colorado Free Ride Festival has been brought to you by Maxxis, descended from legends. Kind, ingredients you can see and pronounce. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling. Giant, ride life, ride Giant.
Brought us together, really. Yeah, we actually met at a bike shop, and I was riding cross country before he was even into it.
She was riding mountain bikes, and I thought that was really cool. So we'd start riding together and camping out. That's truly what brought us together, you know.
Kind of get to focus on each other and really, help motivate each other and help each other get better at certain things, and kind of just spend some quality time together.
Right.
It's cool to be able to come to a place where he can have fun and go down, more technical stuff.
She can cruise and do the easier lines, and we can still be riding together at the same speed.
Still have fun.
So.
Still doing what you love, but you don't necessarily always have to be together at the same time.
There's nothing more badass than being able to see your wife, come in behind you, just slaying it, It's just so impressive, to see that.
Anytime we are, maybe having an issue or kind of loose side of things, it's always good to go out, go ride our bikes, and forget about, little stuff that doesn't matter.
Focus on what's in front of you instead of life.
Yeah, and what brought you together in the first place.
Yeah.
So, having fun and just going out there and trying new stuff.
It's your Maxxis Slopestyle qualifications here at your Maxxis Slopestyle Open. Brett J and Cam McCall here. Cam McCall, of course, two-time winner here at Colorado Free Ride Festival. The day of qualifying going on here on Friday. Also join us for our finals, the webcast tomorrow. That's where we take 16 of these top guys right here, move them into the finals, and the other 10 guys, well, they don't have to go home. But they can stay around, but they just don't get to compete tomorrow.
Yeah, it's different than a bar. It's not like a bar where you don't have to go home. You just can't stay here. You can stay here.
Yeah, when they turn the lights on at 2 in the morning. Yeah. So we go to the top here to start things out again. Benjamin Bennett will be our next guy to go. Currently in 21st spot. Needs to try and get up in the top 16 to have a shot at it. Here we go. Benjamin Bennett up next.
Right on. Benjamin Bennett dropping in for the second big slopestyle run of his young career. Great to see new riders out here pushing themselves. A tire grab on that. There we go. 270 into the trestle wall ride, already stepping it up from run number 1. Toboggan on the log. Nice style on the whip on that Powerade hip. Looking for some sort of trick up, but missing it, but a couple more features for redemption here. The Monster Dirt to Dirt, a big suicide no-hander out of Benjamin Bennett, linked into that toboggan, holding onto that seat with his left hand until right the moment before landing. Nice improvement there out of run 2 for Benjamin Bennett. And we talked earlier about those cannon features like you're seeing right there on the screen, the New Belgium uplog, and then the on-off box being features that definitely separate the riders who are competing in slopestyle for their first time here at CFF and the riders who are staples on the Slopestyle World Tour. It's difficult to trick those features, so you're seeing Benjamin Bennett reserve those tricks for those more desirable straight trick jumps. And all the tricks that he did choose to do, he had great extension on them. Not to mention, you know, we talk about the course, but riding with some of the top riders in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to have a great example as to how to put together a slopestyle run, you're rubbing elbows with guys like Nikolai Rogatkin and Max Fredriksson, Ryan Nyquist, so a lot to be learned out here for the young faces.
And speaking of young faces, now you got Ryan Biggs. He's in 23rd. 25 on run number 1, so he's got to get up there. But you know what, just showing up and putting a run together, no place to go but up. Ryan Biggs dropping in second and final run in his first competitive contest. Here we go.
So great fluidity for the young Aussie's first run, just needing to add a few tricks to it. So you know he's looking to step outside of that comfort zone a little bit here in run number 2. Backflip with, oh no! Going a little bit offline, flipping that Powerade hip. We call it a hip because the landing's offset from the lip. And to do a trick like a backflip on that feature, it presents its own set of challenges. It's easy to land sideways, and that's exactly what happened to Ryan Biggs right there. Going off the course, no harm, no foul, looks to be all right. But tough to see him mess up his second run right there.
Hey, 18 years old, man. Got a strong upside out of him. We're going to see him for years to come right there.
So here we go, another angle on that. He likes to cork those backflips out, but he landed facing the right where he needed to land facing the left. And good save, kind of rodeo riding it through the tape.
And he did pull that good. He did go under the tape here, so he did pull that part off. Ryan Biggs, 23rd spot. That's going to keep run number 1, and we'll look for him in the future. Just 18 years old for Ryan Biggs. Next up, we'll go up top. And for Morpheus, we're talking about Mitch Chubby. Ready to go. Mitch Chubby in that 14th spot. Okay, that's a spot that's tough to be in right there because you're just only 2 spots above the bubble. So kind of improving a little bit on this run would definitely help his cause. Next up, 67.3 on run number 1, Mitch Chubby.
Yeah, like you said, not a comfortable position to find yourself in. 14th out of 16 transfer spots. His first run was great. We were loving that. It went into the lead at the time. So now he has to add some things, and he's doing it. Backflip bar spin on that CFF drop. The top side tail whip into the trestle wall ride. 360 bar spin on the New Belgium uplog into the hip. A front flip, lofty. Great composure on that front flip from Mitch Chubby. A tail whip up, getting the pedals. 360 down. So far, every trick executed with precision except for that seat grab. He was looking for the Indian Air. Backflip tail up, straight to the pedals again. So only one small blemish on that run. Looking to improve on that score, sitting in 14th so far.
It's gotta be, we gotta wonder, does he improve on that? I mean, that was a pretty good run. It was just that second to final jump right there looked like the only thing was a slight bobble, but 67.3, everything else looked tight.
So backflip bar spin, really tough feature to start out with, but nailing it with precision. The 360 bar spin. So all of these tricks being done on difficult features are going to score high. It's going to be the determining factor. He's looking to do that seat grab Indian Air on that dirt to dirt feature, and he definitely got his hands off, his hand on the seat, his feet off, just lacking a little extension, but everything else was absolutely perfect.
So it comes down to this: is it improvement over the 67.3? Does he give himself a little more breathing room? I mean, even if he could move up into like 13th, 12, 11, any of those spots is going to help him out a little bit. Let's see where he gets. Run number 2, 70.3. So he stays in 14, but he adds 3 more points. That could be very important when it comes down to it, Cam.
That could definitely play to his advantage, you know, playing a little bit of defense, not letting anybody slide in ahead of you. So he did exactly what he needed to do.
Well, Nick Hilton needs to do it now. He's in 17th right now. Nick Hilton needs to be in the top 16, second and final run.
This kid is a wild child. We were talking about it in run number 1. No stranger to the mountain bike or the BMX. A lot of crazy tricks. Rides a lot with Nikolai Rogatkin. Let's see what he's got. 360 tabletop, spinning to the left on that Powerade hip. Now an X up, starting things off for the Maxxis on-off box. And then a flat flip off. There's that lawn dart front flip on the dirt to dirt. Last jump, double backflip, and he landed. Oh, no.
Oh, he was committed to the end. Wow, let's hear it for the exciting riding right there of Nick Hilton. Damn.
Oh, man, that double backflip had great rotation. He was just leaned a little bit in the dirt.
And 17th place, man, after run number 1.
Oh, he needed to land that double backflip. 17th is right outside of the transfer positions. But that flat drop backflip always scores high. And then that front flip, staring at the landing as he's initiating the rotation. But here's where things went a little sour. The double backflip.
Oh, he almost just...
Rotation was perfect, but if you land a little bit sideways on this slippery dirt with little pebbles on the top, the tires lose traction. So close, 98% of a great run.
Yeah. Well, Nick Hilton, where does he go? 17th place is where he's sitting. And run 2, yeah, not going to improve. So that's going to do it. Let's hear it for Nick Hilton, 17th, just outside that top 16.
Well, he went for it. You know, he can pat himself on the back for that.
Well, and that means Mitch Chubby dodges a bullet right there, too. So he still stays with that 70 in that 14th spot. Zach Lewis, the legendary Zach Lewis. Snowboarder, mountain biker, this guy could do it all. And it's basically rode, in every single one except for one since the beginning of Colorado Freeride Festival.
He was busy with a little thing called America's Got Talent, live television.
And we excused him for that. Here we go, Zach Lewis.
But just that one time. If he missed it next year, no more excuses, buddy.
Ooh, some height on that.
Showing up to this event since 2007. Always a crowd favorite. Now he flipped this jump in run number 1. He's doing it again. He said he was psyching up for that in practice. He said he might even do it on the last jump. Always great to see a guy like Zach, who's basically not going to any other slopestyle contest throughout the year, just showing up to this one. And there it is. Getting the pelvis right up against that stem.
Getting friendly with those bars and stem right there. Let's hear it for Zach Lewis, the local boy out there. He just keeps on ticking all these years. And
always doing it for fun, too. So it's great to watch a guy like Zach come out for the fans, but also for himself. And you know, it's no easy task to just make it through this slopestyle course. Think about your home trails. This is one with a lot of mandatory airtime, and to be flipping through there and then kind of goofing around on the last jump, you got to be a great bike rider to even make it top to bottom out here.
Zach Lewis, always a favorite to watch that man do his thing. 23rd place, that's going to do it. A better run in run number 2, 29.3 for Zach Lewis right there. And the claim.
And the crowd goes wild.
The crowd goes wild. Oh, that was just awesome to watch him do that. And then we were talking about David Lieb. He is in 7th place. You're talking about him as a guy that's, well, those guys could be one of the wild cards, and he had the lead for a while, Cam. Big
time. Like we said before, this event has a tendency to shine a light on the next generation, and judging by run number 1 from David Lieb, man, he's got what it takes.
David Lieb coming in 2nd and final run. He's in 7th, in a good position right now for him.
Out of Michigan, 360 down. The tail whip to tabletop, showing great control. Oh, only guy doing that out here, the 360 downside tail whip off the can, and a backflip bar spin, looking for the one-footed can-can variation. Now an opposite tail whip up the box, a bar spin down, catching the bars and adding a little bit of style.
Yeah,
now a double tail up straight to pedals. What's he gonna choose for the last jump? 360 bar spin to table. Man, for a rookie, he's got so much skill, and basically, you know, the riders who are on the Diamond Series already, they have a tendency to make things look easy, but David Lieb is doing that as well.
Well, look at what he's done, 79.3. That's what he had in run number 1. Now it goes into Paul Raxon, the judge's hands. Is that a better run than his first run?
So he's got that calmness to his riding, to the juxtaposition of difficult, rowdy-looking tricks, but then calmness in between features is what the judges really like. You like aggression, but they like it when a rider's making it look easy.
It's like it shows that you're in control, right?
And these days, with all the riders having so many big tricks, they have to look at things like control. So David Lieb definitely, maybe this is his first slopestyle contest, but he's been watching them, knowing what to do.
Oh, and look at this. It proves to an 81, goes up into 5th place for David Lieb. 81, we'll see him in the big show. That's almost a guarantee that he'll be in tomorrow with that one. 81, so he has improved his shot just like that. As Liam Wallace down in 25th. He's a guy who needs to climb up. 18.7 is the score. Run number 1 for Liam Wallace. Liam Wallace, 19 years old, doing for Morpheus. Here we go, Liam Wallace.
So if I remember correctly, I think Liam had a tire fly off in run number 1. So we're looking for him to get a full run top to bottom here, flipping that New Belgium uplog. Huge style nose down to that 360X up. All right, we need a top to bottom. This is the last chance for him here. Barspin to barspin back, up the box. A tail whip down, we don't see that too much. A tuck no-hander to toboggan. One last trick. Max's money booter backflip, barspin. That's what he needed to do. Now it's up to the judges. Are we gonna see Liam Wallace in the finals?
See, this is where it starts getting nervous for the guys around 16, 15, 14, and even 13. Because you could lose a position just like that with a run like this here.
Yeah, riders who were fully capable but had some sort of technical malfunction in run number 1, those are the real spoilers. The barspin to barspin back, up the box, the tail whip down, comboing the dirt to dirt with a tuck no-hander to toboggan, putting the hand on the seat, and then a smooth backflip barspin to finish things off.
So now the score for him. Where is he going to figure into this? Showing you the heart right there. Loved his run. So trying to get in the top 16. That's where you need to be after a second runs are completed. If you're in the top 16, you're moving into tomorrow's big show, the finals, for your Maxxis Slopestyle Open. 2 wild cards up for grabs to try and make it into Joyride and earn yourself a spot back in the Diamond Series. So a lot up for grabs. I'm doing it for Race Face. And Atlas as well. So yeah, you got it. Well, because he had trouble on that run number 1, so you know there's going to be improvement, but does it improve enough to get him 16? Here we go. We're going to find out. Liam Wallace, 15th spot, man. 67. He's in the top 15. And so Chubby, who's in 14th, stays in 14th.
Yeah, the pressure was on. He needed that run. He needed a score in the top 16. He got 15th, but not a comfortable place to be with all these riders yet to drop.
Another guy on the outside looking in, Zach West, 20th spot right now. He needs to try and improve as well. But he's just 18 years old. Zach West giving his best. Here we go. Run number 2 for Zach. What's he got?
Zach West out of Morgan Hill, California. Another young rider, only 18 years old, dropping into his first slopestyle event. His second slopestyle run now. A lot of great fluidity out of this guy. And as we're seeing out of some of these riders who are doing their first slopestyle competition, having a hard time getting tricks on some of the more difficult features like that drop, saving them for these last 2 big jumps. A Superman out of Zach, and then another Sailor on the last jump. So not gonna do it to get him in the top 16, but definitely great experience. First slopestyle event for Zach West.
Yeah, and we talk about it, 18 years old. So he's 18 years old, so competing in some of his first slopestyle competitions. So now he knows where he stacks up, where he needs to clean things up. Could see this dude on a podium or making it in the finals in the future for sure.
For sure. What you look for is, you know, just the fluidity in between jumps, judging speed, and the tricks that you do getting good extension. He had great extension on that Superman. We had a backflip in there, and good style on the bike as well. Don't forget, it's called slope style.
You got to have the style. There's a look at your Maxxis on and off box right there, built by Kelly McGarry himself. It's always good to see that thing stand the test of time and to still be in operation nowadays. As we get set here for the rest of our second runs for all the riders on the way for you. We got Max coming up. Max Langell coming up for you. There's Zach West, so he is done in that 20th spot, 31.7. Improvement. So moving in the right direction for Zach West. And now you got Max Langille now. He's another youngster, 19 years old, in 23rd spot, 31.7. Best score, run number 1 for him.
So Max Langille dropping in out of Canada. If you remember from run 1, he had a bobble on the dirt to dirt. Now the pressure is on. Second run, a backflip bar spin to start things off. Huge amplitude into the trestle wall ride. 360 off of the up log. He just needs to put the pieces together and finish somewhere in the top 16. Opposite 360 up. He's going to link that to a regular 360 down. And here's where he crashed in run number 1. Gets that combination now. Tough no-hander to suicide no-hander. And a backflip bar spin. Whoa, barely getting the rotation, but completely stomping it. Wow, that was a slow rotated backflip bar spin.
Well, 64.3 is our new bubble score. Matt Dennis was in that with a 63.3. He's now under the 17th spot. But that was Max Langille right there, 19 years old. Looking at the replays here.
The pressure was on and he fixed his mistakes, so it's great to see a lot of the same tricks that he had in the bank from run number 1. But run number 1 kind of came to a screeching halt when he came up short on the monster dirt to dirt. But you're going to see on the screen right now, well, we're not going to see it, but he finished things off with that backflip bar spin, tagging that front wheel on the landing about 6 inches too short, but muscling it out.
Yeah, just plowing through that thing when the wheel comes up short like that, but still able to ride through that. So still trying to beat a 64.3. That's the bubble score right now. And that's also making mid-70s look like you got a pretty good shot at it. There's 64.3, and we're about just under halfway to go here with all of our riders. Langille gonna check in. Score 31.7, 18th.
So close.
Yeah, but you know what? He knows what to do now. That's valuable experience. I mean, you were in that position too, one of your first slopestyle contests. You know, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, nobody has a slopestyle course like this to practice on. So the experience, dropping in under pressure, tricking these features, he'll be back next year.
Now, Matt Dennis, as I was saying, he was the guy with our bubble score. He has the 63.3, but he has now been bumped down into 17. So Matt Dennis now needs to add some more digits to that 63.3 to give himself some breathing room to stay in that top 16 or get back into it. Here we go, Matt Dennis, second and final run.
Matt Dennis with a backflip bar spin to start things off into the trestle wall ride. Good style. Now he's got a little bit of a blank to fill in from run number 1. Let's see if he can do it. A 360 bar spin on the New Belgium uplog. Oh, great 720 on that Powerade hip. Opposite 360 onto the Maxxis on-off box, a regular 360 down. And getting the backflip bar spin, that's where he needed the combo from run number 1. Can he carry speed into the last jump? Not enough for a trick, but he does get through the finish line.
And he knows that's second to last jump, the monster dirt to dirt.
Oh,
that
man.
might have cost that chance to get in that top 16.
He knows what he needed to do, and it was the backflip bar spin on that dirt to dirt feature, so he warmed up that trick, doing it on a very difficult feature, the CFF drop to start things off. That 720 couldn't have been any better on the Powerade hip. And then good variety with the opposite 360 up to the regular 360 down. And we're not going to see it, but it was that dirt to dirt feature. He did the backflip bar spin, came up short, somehow held on. Rider with a little less strength maybe would have crumbled under impact, but the fact that he held on and finished that run is very impressive. But 17th place.
Well, what could have been right there for Matt Dennis? He's going to have to wait till next season, next year on the CFF to see if he can make the finals. This year, not able to do it, but strong upside for him in the future for sure. So DJ Brandt will be next up, 64.3, 16th spot. He
Bubble
is
boy.
your bubble boy.
Hey there, Bubble Boy.
So if you're Bubble Boy, 16th, man, you know you got to do a better run. So maybe that helps your decision-making process here.
It's tough, too, because where do you go from there? Hopefully he's got more in the tank, but his run number 1 was fantastic. Remember, he stomped that flip whip on the bottom, and then his tire blew out, so nice dramatic effect with the fireworks at the bottom. Off-axis backflip to start things off for DJ Brandt out of Colorado. The tail up to tabletop on the wall, right into the flip off of the New Belgium uplog. That 360 double tail this time. He did have more in the chamber. DJ Brandt, always a crowd favorite out here, flipping up the on-off box and 3 and down. Now to the final 2 features, that off-axis backflip we love out of DJ Brandt. Now backflip tail up, stomping that tire, staying on the rim this time.
Keeping the tire on the rim, nicely done. DJ Brandt, second and final run for the Bubble Boy. 64-3 the score on run number 1 for him. Well, like you said, he had one more in the chamber on that one, Cam.
He did, and he stomped it perfect, that 360 double tail up, hoping to see that in the replay. Look at that, looking at that back tire, still on the rim, so even more precision for run number 2 out of DJ Brandt. But this tail whip, catching the bike into the tabletop, milking out all the air time available out of that trestle wall ride. But right here, winding up for it, 360 with 2 tail whips. That trick is going to score really high. He did a 360 tail up in run number 1, so that's how he's looking to improve his score. And then landing smooth on that backflip tail whip. Perfect run.
All right, where does it go for DJ Brandt? He's on the bubble, 64-3. He's already in the top 16. That is not a safe position to be. If he can add some more digits to that score, we can see him climbing up there and guaranteeing him a spot in the final. So it comes down to this right here. Survey says score for DJ Brandt, 68-7 into 15th. So he climbs up just 1 notch, but still, he's still in top 16 if he can hold on.
Yeah, you know, you saw that reaction on his face. He's going, all right, cool. I gave myself a little bit more breathing room, but yeah, he's going to be motivated for tomorrow if he's able to hold on to one of those transfer spots.
Well, here we go. Next up for you, Josh Holt. Mongoose and Rockwell watches, ready to drop in next. He's already busted out with an 80, so he will be in the finals. Guaranteed tomorrow. Here we go. Second and final run for the Holt.
360 bar spin off the CFF drop. Josh Holt, so much aggression out of this very large human. Look how tall this guy is. He makes a BMX bike look absolutely minuscule. Fits his mountain bike nice, doing tricks like that 360 downside tail up, backflip bar spin up, 360 down. Now here's where we saw him link 2 huge combos. He's doing it again. Front flip, tuck no hander. Now is he gonna do it again? Oh, a double flip this time. Stomping it.
Rides away, the incredible Holt right there. Solid riding out of him. An 80 on his first run. You got to think that's going to be a pretty big score in the second run.
Oh, huge. I was excited to see that backflip Superman that he did in run number 1, but coming out of nowhere with the double backflip. I think there was rumors he was doing that in practice, so you know, playing the strategy card like you were talking about earlier in the show, get one in the bag and then really go for it. And Josh Holt, no stranger to competition and strategy. He won a BMX Dirt Dew Tour, like you said, back in 2009.
Yeah.
And now he's a slopestyle pro, front flip tuck no hander, even better extension this time than last time. And it's switching out the backflip Superman for the double backflip.
Well, and the thing is, too, you talk about the wild card spots. He needs to get one to get back to the Diamond Series standings. Where does he go? An 81, so he does improve. 5th spot right there for Josh Holt. Top 5, so an 80 to an 81. Some consistent riding out of that man right there. So now we take all of focus our attention back up top to Frank Paulin now. He's in 22nd, 34, run number 1 for him. Trying to get up there in the top 16, 64-3. Keep that in mind. Right now, that's your current bubble score. If you can stay in that 64-3 or above that top 16, when all the dust clears here on our second and final runs, you'll be in the big show for tomorrow. And possibly a career maker for some of these guys. We talk about Nikolai Rogakin. You know, he did it in 2013. He's made a name for himself, and look where he's gone.
So Paul Genovese out of Canada dropping in for his second run. His first run was absolutely flawless. Adding more to it already on the first feature, a backflip double bar spin. A bar spin into the trestle wall ride. Looked like an opposite tail whip off the New Belgium up log. What's he have for us here? Balancing things out with the regular double tail whip. Superman C grab Indian Air up. The on-off box, great extension. A regular 360 down. Backflip bar spin. Wow, so calm on that jump. And then even bigger extension on that backflip Superman C grab.
You want extension? I got extension.
I hope we get to see that in slow motion, because he was horizontal in run number 1. And I feel like he was past horizontal just now.
Paul Genovese, 7th place from run number 1.
You know what he did this morning? Before he even flipped that thing, he flip bar spun it. So if a flip bar spin is routine for him, of course he's going to add the extra bar spin. Flip double bar spin off that step down. There's the double tail whip. Then you got to be well-rounded. Doing the C-grab Indian Air up helps his variety score. And then just sailing that backflip bar spin. But here's my favorite part of the run, putting the hand on the seat, feet off, extending all the way towards the mountains in this beautiful backdrop we have here in Winter Park, Colorado. Huge run for Paul Genovese.
Yeah, he's all smiles, and he should be, because he's killing it today on both runs.
Ride or die.
Paul Genovese, where does he go with this one? Does he improve? Does he stay the same? So he's up in there, and he looks like no worries at all for him. He should be in the finals tomorrow. Consistent riding out of that man right there, Paul Genovese. 5th place Colorado Freeride Festival back in 2014. That was his best finish at Colorado Freeride Festival. Well, you got to be in the finals to do better than that. And looks like he is securing himself a spot into tomorrow's show. Coming up, we're going to see Griffin Paulson on the way. Then BB-8s, Braden Barrett-Hay, Anton Thailander. Genovese, where's he going to go? 79.7, 4th place for Paul Genovese on run number 1.
83,
run number 2,
actually,
83, his best one of the day, and that's going to give him that spot right there. So Paul Genovese has done his job. Now it's time for Griffin Paulson. 12th place, 73, run number 1 for him. So he is in that top 16 right now. But you know, he's probably, 4 or 5 more points on that 73 would help his cause. And here we go, 2nd and final run, dropping in next from Canada, it's Griffin Paulson.
All right, Griffin Paulson looking for a little more breathing room, getting his hands off this time, flipping with the tuck no-hander on the CFF drop. So that's a big combo on that feature. Now 360 on the New Belgium up log. Into the hip, backflip, tail whip. Wow! Keeping the body square to where he wanted to be and holding on. Great front flip on top of the box, a 360 down. Lawn dart, great style.
Perfect.
On that front flip. Into a double backflip, tuck no-hander, he stomps it!
That looked like slow rotation at the end on that Maxxis Money Booter, but he brought that around cleanly, boom.
That's where we are in 2017, qualifying day at Colorado Freeride Festival. Double backflip, tuck no-hander. So he was warming up. Now that we see what he was planning on the last jump, that first jump makes a lot of sense, getting that backflip tuck no-hander off the CFF drop. Smooth tricks all the way down, a little bit of a potential mishap, completely avoided on that backflip tail up, keeping his body square. This kid keeps his eyes up, looking at the next feature rather than being focused on where he is. That's why he's able to maintain his composure and do tricks like that double backflip tuck no-hander. Judges have to reward that combo, right?
Oh, for sure.
That is progression.
That's what you want to do. You want to put it down when it counts, and he did just that. That rotation was slow on the Maxxis Money Booter, but he brought that around, landed high in that transition on the Monster Dirt to Dirt on the fronty, and that kept his speed going into the Maxxis Money Booter. So it's so important to keep your speed up and land on those transitions through your last features, your last 3 features. But now he just can only play the waiting game now with about 10 more to go here to wrap things up in your qualification round. Remember, once again, we had a field of 26. We're narrowing it down to a field of 16 and putting them into the finals. So you see the judges taking their time, and for good reason. This is when they start comparing every single run together, every single feature to make sure they're putting them in the right positions. And an 82.7, fifth place for Griffin Paulson.
Look at that, double backflip tuck no hander being rewarded just, I think, 0.3 behind what we just saw to Paul Genovese. So good to see those big tricks being rewarded.
Rogatkin number 1, Fredrickson number 2, Knopf number 3, Genovese 4, Paulson now 5, Pete 6, and Braden Barrett Hay. BBH number 9 right now, 75.7 on his first run. So it's not quite safe, but it looks pretty good for the Mongoose rider. Here we go, second and final run.
Yeah, 9th relatively comfortable, but you can also treat these runs as practice, but also when we're running the finals tomorrow, we'll be running reverse order from today's results. So it's always a benefit to go late. Whoa! 360 seat grub Indian air to tuck no hander. One of the biggest combos we've seen all day. Now oppo up, regular 3 down. Backflip tuck no hander, getting the variation on that dirt to dirt. Last feature, backflip double tail, and he stomps it.
Oh my! No way, Braden Barrett Hay coming out swinging that one for the fence. Man, and this is a qualifier, and look what these guys are bringing to the show in a qualifier.
Huge run out of Braden Barrett Hay.
Well, and he had a 75.7. I think that's the score he had on run number 1 for him.
So what we're really going to want to focus on here is the Powerade hip. The trick he did there, you're not seeing anybody else do that. 360 seat grab Indian air, get it back on the bike, and then taking your hands off. So much going on. Then having the presence of mind to do an opposite 360 up, a regular 360 down, and then 2 big combos. Last jump having the biggest one with a backflip double tail whip. Feet glued to the pedals.
Well, it comes down to this one here. I mean, he's already looking like he is solid no matter what in it, so he'll be in the finals tomorrow. But where does he go? Because remember, the higher you finish, the later you get to go and see what everyone else does. And the score coming in 85.7 into 3rd place for Braden Hay, just like that.
Huge
Top
score.
3. That's respectable because that's challenging Nikolai and Max Fredrickson in those top 2 positions. Now, Hay gets in there in the 3rd spot. Wow. And you look at this, man, it is just a qualifier today. Let's take a look. There you go right there, 6 through 1. You can see Nikolai, the only one approaching those 90s, 89. Fredrickson pretty close behind him with that 87. Now you go all the way down, Logan Pete 7. Eric Fedko in that 11th spot. Nyquist looking good in 11th right there. And then all the way down to 16. Liam Wallace, he is your new bubble score at 67. Liam Wallace on the bubble. So DJ Brandt in 15th. Mitch Chubby still just holding on to that 14th spot. Things are definitely getting gnarly out here today. 10th place, Anton Thelander right now. A 74.7 run number 1. Looks like we'll be seeing him in the show tomorrow too as well. We said about those mid-70s. But remember, the higher you score, the later you get to go. So if you're the number 1 qualifier, you get to go last tomorrow. You get to see what everyone else does before you. So if you qualify in that 16th spot, you're the first guy to go.
Yeah, with that smooth run we saw out of Anton Thelander in run number 1, he's sitting good. Now he doesn't have to look at this as qualifying. He can look at it as seeding. So a backflip bar spin to start things off. He can tinker around with the little things, have some experiments. Maybe some stuff he's throwing around as options for tomorrow he can try out today. So smooth. Great style in that 360 tail. If he's looking down at his bike, looks like he may be wondering something. Maybe that rear shock is losing air or something. Looks like it's blowing through the travel a lot, but he's already sitting pretty into tomorrow's finals.
Boy, in this, Cam, I always talk about, that shows you sometimes such the importance of run number 1. Because there's nothing you can do. You have a mechanical on that run too. And if he would have had a problem on run number 1, Anton would not be in the mix. But because of that first run that he put down, he'll be in the finals tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure if he wasn't sitting in one of those nice transfer spots, he would have pushed through whatever was causing him to look down at his bike right there. But it is nice to have that transfer spot locked up.
Well, we'll see him. We'll see Cleanlander in the show tomorrow for the finals. So you you see that, the 40.3, he keeps the 74.7, 10th place. Anton will be in the show tomorrow. As we're winding down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more riders to go, but only one of them can bump out someone in the top 16. That's going to be Reed Boggs when he comes up, because Lucas Knopf, he can do no wrong. 84.3, he's already in no matter what. So you got to wonder what he's going to do here. You think he takes it easy, or he just tries to make things happen? Just know the run you're going to do and try and land it.
You know what? I don't think this guy makes a habit out of taking anything easy. And if you look at the expression on his face, I think he's ready to send it. Tail whip for Lucas Knopf to start things off all the way out of Germany. Nice flare high up on that trestle wall ride. 360 bar spin on the New Belgium uplog. 360 tuck no hander to bar spin. Huge combo. We're seeing a lot of combos on that jump. Backflip tuck no hander up. 360 bar spin down. Similar to his first run, getting the hands off of that front flip this time. Front flip tuck no hander right into that bar spin and tail whip. So there we go, experimenting for tomorrow, adding some to that run. Just maybe getting a gauge for what the judges are gonna do if he adds a no hander to that front flip too.
That's a good point, Cam. Also, testing the judges on what they're gonna score some of your different tricks. Yeah, definitely not taking it easy on second run.
You could tell the expression on his face, he was ready to try something. And I think that something was that front flip tuck no hander, which he executed perfectly. So all the tricks in this run, that back flip tuck no hander up, the 360 bar spin down, but here's that trick we're talking about. The front flip taking the hands off. He had a straight front flip in run number 1. But the bar spin and tail up, see that he can do that with a little bit less airtime than what he had in run number 1. It's a good trick to have on that last jump because it's unique. Not a lot of people doing it, and it scores high.
Like we said about just testing the judges at that point. So at 85.3, he does improve by an extra point, so he will be in that 4th spot. Remain right there. Lucas Knopf, solid riding out of him. 85.3 for that man. As he holds on to that one, he'll head back up top as we're ready for our next riders to still come in. And only one more rider could change the top 16 right now. And that's Reed Boggs, who's coming up as our 3rd rider. We have Eric Fedko, who's coming up, and he's in 11th. So he is already in the big show, too, with a 74.3.
Now, I'm excited about this kid right here. Back-to-back German riders. Lucas Knopf, one that we've been aware of for a few years, but now Eric Fedko, a fresh new face on the slopestyle scene. And man, he looking good. Backflip double bar spin this time to start things off for Eric Fedko. Alley-oop 270X up. A lot of aggression in between features for this rider. A 360 double bar spin off the cannon log. Oh, 360 tail up catching early and then tucking the arms. Extending it with so much style. A tail up on top of the on-off box. A 360 down. Backflip tuck no hander with a little bit of extension on that dirt to dirt, and then a backflip tail catching early, landing long. Wow, a lot of veteran skill out of this rookie.
You know, and you can tell there's gone are the days of just you already know that you've made it into the finals, so you're going to take it easy on the second run. Those days don't happen no more.
I know, it's great for us because there was a time when people wouldn't even take their second qualifying run. They didn't want to risk it, but now you're seeing the last 3 riders step it up in their second run just to get an extra point here or there.
Well, and you make the claim too, Cam, when you're talking about seating order. Seating order is very important when it comes down to it. If you get to watch most of the riders, that's a lot better for you to plan your attack and what you're going to do. So let's see what Fedko does. Does he improve from his first run? We already know he'll be in the finals tomorrow, so he's already earned himself a spot there. So run number 2, Eric Fedko will check in with a 77.7, 10th place right there. Bumps a notch up, so a top 10 for Eric. As we get set for Jakob Wenzel out of the Czech Republic. He's in 13th, 72.7 for Jakob. Now he cannot be bumped out. He will make into the finals tomorrow no matter what. No matter what he does on this run. So you got to wonder, will he change it up here? Will he take it easy? We're going to find out. Jakob Wenzel, second and final run right here, Colorado Freeride Festival, your Maxxis Slopestyle Open.
Jakob Wenzel, it looked like a backflip X up to start things off for him. Huge amplitude, inward table on the trestle wall ride. Truly a global field out here. Jakob Wenzel coming from all the way across the world, the Czech Republic. 360 downside tail up, flat drop flip down. Huge link in the middle of the course for Jakob Wenzel. Last jump, what's it gonna be? Backflip toboggan to tuck no hander again. Wow, adding a lot to that run.
I like it. I mean, it's almost like they're like you're saying, like you said earlier, camp testing the judges, seeing what the judges are going to score your second run. If you're different than your first run, you see what they gave you on your first, see what they gave you on your second.
Great extension out of that 360 tuck no hander on the Cannon log. Opposite 360X up, but this was a highlight right here. These two back-to-back linked features. 360 downside tail up into the flat drop. If you so much as slip a tiny pedal pin on that 360 downside tail up, you're not going to be wanting to do that backflip off. So that link right there is going to be a heavy part of his run.
Boy, I'm surprised that helmet still fits.
I asked him that actually. I said, you had so much hair, you cut it all off. Did you have to get a new helmet? He said, nope, same helmet. But he looks like he's carrying more speed now without all that wind drag.
Yeah, he's way aerodynamic now.
Look out, speed and style.
Jakob Wenzel waiting for that score to come in for him. And then we got Reed Boggs, the only one on the outside looking in. The remaining riders coming up. 72-3, run number one, the better of the two. So 13th.
He's going, wait, I did more, but I got less. What do I do?
And there we go, Reed Boggs. This is what we call the outside looking in. He is in 26th. Had a blowout right away in his first run, so he didn't even get to complete his first run. So if he can beat a 67 right now, he would knock Liam Wallace out of the top 16, and he would get in. After him, Logan Pete, Ryan Nyquist, Max Ferguson, and Nikolai Rogatkin, they're already in the top 16. So Liam Wallace watching this one for sure. And here comes Reed Boggs, the American, second and final run.
It all comes down to this for Reed Boggs with that bobble in run number one. He didn't really do much wrong. His tire flew off the rim, so this is as far as we've seen him make it down the course now, flipping that Cannon log, getting the double tail whip on the Powerade hip. He needs absolute bangers on every single feature to get into that top 16. A front flip up, a 360 down, two more features for Reed Boggs. Backflip bar spin right into the Maxxis Money Booter. Nice extension on that flat spin 360 one-footed table. Putting the style in slope style.
Hey, let's hear it for Reed Boggs right there, back against the wall. Second and final run. The last person that could shake up the top 16. And it all comes down to this. Take a look at these highlights.
So big amplitude on the alley-oop 271 footed table, and then that scores high, flipping that off-camber New Belgium uplog, the double tail whip, and a backflip bar spin on the monster dirt to dirt. And right here, definitely a unique trick with a lot of style. Will it compete with some of the big bangers we've seen on the last jump? It's the whole run as its own entity that counts. So it's going to be some tough number crunching for the judges.
Well, he's got to beat Cam. He's looking to beat the 67. That's what Liam Wallace has. That's our bubble score. Our final transfer spot, 67 the score from Liam Wallace. Now, it all goes into the judges' hands right now. Do they think that Reed Boggs' run was better than Liam Wallace's 67? This is where the comparison happens. Can he do it? Reed Boggs, score coming in. Oh! 16th place on run number 2. He has done it. Reed Boggs has squeaked in on his second and final run today. Oh my goodness. Bummer for Liam Wallace. He has been eliminated. He is done for the day. But Reed Boggs lives to ride another day. We'll see him in the finals. As well as this next man that we'll see in the finals, Ryan Nyquist. Looks like we'll be skipping Logan Pete. He is happy with the score that he has put in. So Logan Pete will go into the finals with that 82 that he put on. But now it comes down to Ryan Nyquist. He's already in. He's just trying to improve his seating position for tomorrow. Here comes the legend, Ryan Nyquist.
And we know exactly what he's looking to improve. Oh, he's already improved. 360 double bar spin off the CFF drop. There's that absolutely technical alley-oop 270 suicide no-hander. The 360 bar spin off the log. Here's where he had the 7. He does it again. Nose down. Such great style on that 720. 360 bar spin to bar spin back. We did not see that in his first run. Linking it to the 360 down. Not getting a trick on the dirt to dirt. Will he get his variation on this last jump? Trying to improvise a bit, looking for a nothing to something. But right there, he may be going with his run one score, but he had so many added elements up top.
But the final two features, a monster dirt to dirt for Ryan Nyquist in both runs. A little sketchy on that, and the Maxxis Money Booter just not getting what he wanted to get on those final two jumps. But I mean, the rest of his run so clean. Take a look at the cast roll there, the 7 out of him.
This is the Nyquist formula. Get a good run and then add bar spins. He had a truck driver up that in run number 1. Now he did a truck driver to bar spin back, but landing long and a little bit under rotated on that 360 drop is what caused him to lose speed into that dirt to dirt, and in turn lose speed into the last jump. So not really what he's looking for in the last two jumps.
No, but I mean, you know, you look, that's the bad news in there, but the good news is you're going to the finals tomorrow, so you can erase today's performance, whatever it is, and look to try and get those runs in that you're trying to get tomorrow. Nyquist, run number 1 is going to be the better of him in 12th place, so we will see Ryan Nyquist competing tomorrow in the finals, so join us back here for that. So Ryan Nyquist, he's already earned himself, and then it looks like Max Fredriksson, Nikolai Rogatkin, what's going on here?
So these guys are all happy with their scores from run number 1. They're sitting safe for tomorrow's finals, so they're going to drop in, do what we call a train. This is what everybody does on their free time. You go ride with your buddies, right? It's fun watching what your friend is doing in front of you through the corners.
So wait, who goes first then? Wouldn't Nikolai go first and Max second, and then Logan in this one?
No rules in a train. That's the best part of a train, Brad J.
All right, so they're talking it out. So their first runs are going to count. All these guys have made it in. So Max has earned himself a spot. Nikolai is in. Logan Pete is in.
So I'm sure you can expect some synchronized choreography out of these guys. They ride together all over the world at all the big contests. And here they are at yet again another huge contest, Colorado Freeride Festival. All of them into the finals. So this one's just for the crowd.
Well, here we go. 3 dudes you can see compete tomorrow in the finals. Here we go right now. Logan Pete, Max Fredriksson, Nikolai Rogatkin.
Boost out of Logan Pete. Oh, alley-oop out of Nikolai.
Yeah.
The best part about a train is you can holler at your buddies as you're riding behind them. You can give them props for a nice trick, or you can heckle them if they didn't get the extension that you know they're capable of.
They're just having fun.
Big lofty backflips out of these guys. What do they have on the last jump? Flip, no-hander, big whip. Oh, and a 1080. That was not chill.
That's not a chill.
Nikolai
You
Rogatkin.
can't, that's breaking the train rules. You can't.
Hey,
and the
look
train
at
is
this.
going by.
We've got a real train. It was the right thing to do.
You could not have scripted that any better, Cam. Train coming by, they do the train, and then you get Nikolai with a 10, the twister. Wait a minute, you're not supposed to do that on a train.
The 1080.
What?
I mean, just a couple years ago, if that was landed in a competition in the final run, everybody lost their mind. Now he's doing it in just a fun run.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you could not have cued that better. Train coming by, then these guys go out. They already qualified themselves into the finals on their first run today, so they didn't even need the second runs. Happy with their positions, came out and just threw a train down. I wonder if they knew the train was coming. Maybe Nikolai had the train schedule. Well, our number 1 qualifier, Nikolai Rogatkin, had an amazing first run and the biggest score that we had seen all day long. And I think with the magic of replays, we can take a look at Nikolai Rogatkin's run.
That's possible?
I think it is.
Magic.
Oh, there's the train. We got to wait till the train's done because they finished their train. So in this train heading for the Moffat Tunnel.
Yeah, less tricks on this train right here.
Chewbacca going by. Mitch Chubby has earned himself a spot in the finals. All right, let's take a look at the overall standings for today. So these guys are all in. Nikolai, Max Fredriksson, Braden Hay, Lucas Knott, Paul Genovese, and Griffin Paulson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're in the finals for tomorrow. Next page, let's talk about that because they're in too. Logan Pete, David Lieb, Josh Holt, Eric Fedko, Anton Thalander, and Ryan Nyquist, 7 through 12, they're in. And there, Reed Boggs squeaking in that 16th spot. DJ Brandt in 15th. He's in. Mitch Chubby, we just saw him coming by. He's going to be in the finals, and Jakob Fensel in too as well. Big props to all the rest of the up-and-comers throwing down some runs, and we'll see these guys in the future for sure. Well, Zach Lewis, we'll always see him. Zach
We'll
will be-
always
yeah.
see Zach Lewis. He's not going anywhere.
All right, let's take a look at our top scoring run from Nikolai Rogatkin. And Cam, talk us through this one.
Yeah, man, the stage is set for a crazy final tomorrow. If this is what you're seeing in the qualifying rounds, alley-oop, 270 tail whip. Nikolai Rogatkin's really coming into his own this season. He's always had the big tricks, but he's really refined his overall game. The variety is deeper this year, and the execution, if you can believe it, is even more polished. The fact that he's doing 1080s in a fun train run, you know, a tuck no-hander for the fans. He could probably do something more technically advanced on that run for the finals. He didn't need to here because that run was good enough to put him in the first place position for qualifying out here at Colorado Freeride Festival 2017.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, the storylines we talked about earlier, those were what it was all about, because we talk about Nikolai Rogatkin, 3 podiums out here, and never, ever has he won the whole thing, and he's had an amazing year this year. I keep telling Nikolai this is the year of Rogatkin. 2 big wins, qualifying in the #1 spot, so that story has proven that he is large and in charge moving into tomorrow's final. Can he continue his dominance and get there? Can he land the run he landed today? Remember, that one also had a little foot dab in it, so you got to think without that foot dab, maybe he goes into the 90s. So that, then there was the talk about Max Fredrickson. Cam, we talked about Max going, you know, can Max regain where he left off last year after the collarbone injury? If there's any naysayers, they can pretty much split, because Max has proved them wrong right now.
Yeah, he's so mentally strong. I had no doubts, but this game is so difficult, and you see some riders not being able to get back to where they left off. And he had so much momentum last year. It was pretty high where he had to get back to, but yeah, no questions after watching that performance today out of Max Fredrickson.
And then you look at the wild card situation, and there's so many guys in there. I mean, you look at all the 16 guys, and there's so many guys that aren't in the Diamond Series who are not competing at Joyride, who are trying to earn that spot. And I look at guys like Josh Holt to making the changeover from BMX over to mountain biking, and there's a chance that he could actually earn himself a spot. We could see him in Joyride if he continues to do as good a riding that he did today.
It would be great to see. I'll be pulling for him. He's a great example of a rider that we've known for years has what it takes to get there. But there's a couple examples of fresh faces that, you know, were unknown names at the beginning of the day today. David Lee, Eric Fedko, both of those guys threw down huge runs that completely would be on par with a Diamond Series event. So can they earn their way in tomorrow? They've got a chance.
Can we just start this thing now?
Let's do it.
We have to wait.
The sun is shining.
We have to wait over 24 hours to get this thing going.
Go to sleep now, Brad.
All right. Tomorrow, join us Mountain Time. I think 5 o'clock is our start time, Mountain Time, for the finals. But also go to ColoradoFreerideFestival.com, or also check out Colorado Freeride Festival on Facebook as well, and follow on Instagram. What an amazing day. Definitely did not disappoint. Final thoughts, Cam McCall.
Well, the stage is set for a crazy event tomorrow. If that's qualifying, what in the world are finals going to look like? I've already got goosebumps. So let's go to sleep so tomorrow comes sooner.
He does have goosebumps. I can see him from here. They're large. Well, that's going to do it for us. Your Maxxis Slopestyle, the qualifications in the books. Top 16, well, they're going to move into the big show tomorrow. Your Maxxis Slopestyle Open, the finals taking place tomorrow. An amazing day on behalf of our entire crew out here, your Colorado Freeride Festival and your Maxxis Slopestyle Open. On behalf of Cam McCall, I'm Brad J. And goodbye from Winter Park, Colorado. We'll see you tomorrow.
You know, pushing myself on the bike, it's like something that I just have to do. It's what makes me tick, what gets me up out of bed in the morning. The feeling that I get when I accomplish something new for the first time, the state of flow and happiness and adrenaline, you know, I'm addicted to it. Biking in my life has been more than just a sport to me. It's been, you know, such an amazing journey. It's so fun, and I can never get enough.